Chapter 238. Enough. More than one reincarnation. Yi Zichen looked at Lu in shock, while she shrugged with a smile. Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? I'm just telling the truth. When you reincarnated as Zhang Junbao, there were two other girls who reincarnated with you. However, you were completely focused on me and ignored their existence. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Yi Zichen was rather confused at the start, but when he heard Lu's words, he laughed. Make it simpler. Make it simpler. Who's tricking you? I'm telling the truth. Lu bit her lips tightly, while Yi Zichen continued to twitch his mouth. Then tell me, were the two girls who reincarnated with me pretty? Although I don't want to admit it, but they are prettier than me. Especially that fox. Lu clenched her fists as she said that. Yi Zichen merely, liar, keep lying. Who's lying? Lu glared with a wronged expression. You want to say that I didn't want the two beauties and insisted on getting tortured behind your ass? That's the situation. Do you think that I'm retarded? Or do you want to say that you are too charming? Girl, I can believe that I'm truly Zhang Sanfeng's reincarnation, and I admit that you are Guixiang. But don't treat me like an idiot, all right? With that, Yi Zichen let out an exasperated sigh. But the heavens gave me this outstanding aura, so all sorts of beauties need to use tricks to get my attention. Die. Bang. Lu bit her lips, then punched Yi Zichen until he had a panda eye. History was always shockingly similar. Yi Zichen leaned back on the sofa and held an egg to his eyes. Boss Yi, who beat you up like this? Tell me. Fatty, I'll go and get revenge for you. Third Fatty Jean rolled up his sleeves and held a kitchen knife in his hand, as if he was going to take revenge for Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen kicked the fatties, but causing him to roll his eyes in annoyance. Just you. Go. There might be new pork on the market tomorrow morning. Also, you gave that kitchen knife to the other party as a tool, right? Isn't this a show of loyalty? Third Fatty Jean grinned and ran back to the kitchen to put the cleaver away. That's right. Why hasn't Tian been watching him these past 2 days? Yi Zichen looked around the living room and raised his eyebrows. Third Fatty Jean, who had just returned from putting away the cleaver, smiled. Him. As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched his neck and shouted, Tian, Chua. The bathroom door opened instantly, and Tian walked out with the toilet cleaner in his hand and a rag draped over his shoulder. Lord Fatty, you call for me? Tian looked like a grandson, and his face was still swollen. It seemed like he had been beaten up quite a bit recently. It's not Grandpa Fatty looking for you. It's Bossy looking for you. Third Fatty Jean stretched his neck and shouted. Tian immediately ran over. Bossy, are you used to living here recently? I'm used to it. The brothers here are all very friendly to me. Tian nodded repeatedly. Your words are as fake as you can be. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. Let me ask you something. If you can answer me clearly, then I won't need you to do these chores in the future. Bossy, please say it. Tian's face instantly brightened. Recently, he had been tortured by the Ho brothers and this fatty every single day until he couldn't take it anymore. Do you know about reincarnation? Confused, Yi Zichen knew that he asked the wrong person when he saw Tian's expression. Go do what you should be doing. Boss Yi, I've never heard of reincarnation. How about you ask me something else? What secluded clans, the internal situation of their clans? Hurry up and go back. Stop bothering me. Boss Yi, don't you want to know these things the most? I don't want to know now. It seemed like Tian still wanted to fight for a chance for himself. Third Fatty Jean stood up from the sofa and glared at him. Hurry up and F***CK off. Third Fatty Jean returned to the bathroom sulkily and sat opposite Yi Zichen. Boss, you want to know about reincarnation? You know, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, causing Third Fatty Jean to reveal a proud expression. Of course, we are the inner disciples of great Emperor Qingming, after all. Then tell me. Third Fatty Jean smiled with interest as he cleared his throat and spoke. This kind of reincarnation is mostly done by some almighty people. For example, you are... The proud Third Fatty Jean suddenly became speechless. Not long later, his expression became uglier and uglier. Then he knelt on the ground and continuously kowtowed as he mumbled something. Just as Ezechiel felt curious, when it comes to reincarnation, let nature take its course. If you ask any more questions, you will die. F*CK. If nothing went wrong, it would be that great Emperor Qingming again. Are you F*King sick? I can't say this, and I can't ask that. Am I F*King living for you? Come out if you dare. Don't hide there. Believe it or not, I'll beat you until you lose your teeth. Is that so? Then I'll come out. The space in the bedroom instantly turned chaotic. Not long later, a black door opened from the roof, and a man of about 7 meters tall, dressed in luxurious clothes and a mask appeared in the room. I heard you wanted to see me. The surrounding space froze, while third fatty Jean, who was kowtowing on the ground, did not move at all. You're that great Emperor Qingming. Like usual, Yi Zichen did not cower this time. He truly had enough of being a coward. The world he knew became more and more mysterious, while more and more questions appeared in his mind. At that moment, it was as if he was playing a game without any guides. The game continuously updated, and more NPCs appeared, as well as new main quests and side quests. The only difference was that the characters in the game could be revived and replayed after dying. However, in this game of his, death was death. Thus, he had to be careful in order to clear the game. But he really had enough. You're the one controlling everything behind this, right? I'm the lucky one that you chose, right? Then I'm telling you right now, I don't want to play anymore. Please go and find other lucky ones, okay? You can't take it anymore. The masked man smiled playfully. Hearing his playful laughter, Yi Zichen slapped the sofa and stood up, then stood fiercely in front of the masked man. Yeah, Lousy has had enough. Lousy wants to live the life of a normal person. Lousy doesn't want to play anymore. Hee, I can feel that you're very angry. The masked man laughed softly. Only an idiot wouldn't be angry. I'm telling you, I'm just a F*King normal person. I admit that I wanted to get rich silently when I first came into contact with you. Now, I'm sorry I was wrong. Take everything I have. Lousy doesn't want it anymore. Chapter 239. Chang'e, who got pimples from eating spicy, gluten yellow emperor. This guy just said that I'm the yellow emperor. Yi Zichen looked at the masked man with a frown and licked his lips. You just said that I'm the yellow emperor. Uh-huh. The masked man nodded, then reached towards the tea table with his right hand and sucked all the cigarettes over. At the same time, he took off his mask. He had a square face, an extremely normal face. He lit a cigarette for himself, took a puff, then blew out a mouthful of smoke in a practiced manner. I really haven't tasted it for a long time. The square-faced man took a few more puffs greedily, then sat down on the sofa. It seems like you really do understand yourself. Back then, before you reincarnated, you told me that if you can't take it anymore, then you should tell everything to your reincarnated self. It seems like it's now. What are you talking about? You're so weird. Yi Zichen sat down opposite him and stared at him with a frown. Yi Zichen sat opposite him and stared at him with a frown. I said I don't want to play anymore. I also told you. You have to continue. Great Emperor Qingming finished the cigarette in his hand, then put it out in the ashtray. This is the path you chose back then. What? Back then, you chose to reincarnate in order to help the immortal region obtain an immortal king. I wanted to let nature take its course, but since we've already talked about it, then I'll tell you everything. Your first life was the Yellow Emperor. What the hell? You're joking with me, right? Someone just told me that I'm the reincarnation of Zhang Sanfeng. How did I become a Yellow Emperor now? How many roles do I play? How much do you guys get paid? Yi Zichen had already made up his mind to admit that he was Zhang Sanfeng's reincarnation, and now he got a Yellow Emperor. Just how long ago was the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors? Zhang Sanfeng, it's your 8th life. Then if I'm a Yellow Emperor in my first life, doesn't that mean I still have a 7th, 6th, 5th, and 3rd life? Yi Zichen smiled wryly. Bro, you're joking. I've lived 9 lives by myself. I know it's very hard for you to understand right now, but you should have unlocked some memories recently, right? A light flashed across great Emperor Qingming's eyes. Those memories are all from your previous life. In the future, you will know more and more, and by then, you will know everything. I don't want to know. Why don't you just kill me? If you don't kill me, I'll kill myself. I've had enough. Yi Zichen, great Emperor Qingming, stood up from the sofa and said with a look of exasperation, "What exactly do you want? You've already lived through 8 lifetimes, and you're about to succeed. Are you going to waste all your previous efforts?" The furious great Emperor Qingming didn't notice Yi Zichen's smile. When he finished speaking, Yi Zichen grinned and said, "You're right. Looks like I'm very important to you, right? Of course. The importance of an immortal king to the immortal region cannot be described with words." Great Emperor Qingming nodded seriously. "You're afraid that I'll die, aren't you?" "Yes." "Then let's talk about a condition." Only then did Yi Zichen smile like a little fox. He'd gotten his way. An hour later. "You know what you want to know? And I've said what I should say. Got it. Go back to your 3 realms. Leave this place to me. I will live well." Great Emperor Qingming gave him a satisfied look, but he stopped and frowned. "I shouldn't have said all of this. Perhaps what I've told you might affect your life in this life. Your calamity is coming. Please be careful." Yi Zichen revealed an annoyed expression when he heard Great Emperor Qingming's endless chatter. "Hurry up and go. I won't joke around with my life. Then, see you in the 3 realms." As soon as he finished speaking, the space in the room became chaotic again. A black door appeared on the roof of the room. Great Emperor Qingming's door instantly disappeared from the room. Dong! The moment Great Emperor Qingming left, Yi Zichen, who had maintained his dominance and pride, collapsed onto the sofa. "Who?" The frozen space was shattered. Third fatty Jean kowtowed to the ground out of habit, then hurriedly stood up with a bitter smile. "Bossy, all right, you don't have to tell me. I don't want to know. I'm a little tired. I'm going back to my room to rest." With that, Yi Zichen dragged his tired body back to his bedroom. Bang! Yi Zichen laid on the bed and blanked out as he looked at the ceiling. F***CK. I'm actually the Yellow Emperor. This is so amazing. Yi Zichen, who had a look of tiredness, instantly leaped up from the bed with an even more excited look than when he found out that he was Zhang Sanfeng. Yi Zichen had a bit of a Hugh spirit. Rather than feeling sorry for himself, he might as well accept it and slowly digest it. Too strong. "I knew that I wasn't a normal person since I was young," Yi Zichen muttered to himself with a smile. At that moment, Lu Jing came out of the dragon eye and looked at him with a silly smile. "Why are you so happy?" "Lil Lu Jing, do you know who Lord is?" Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows arrogantly. Lu Jing twitched her mouth as if she was looking at an idiot. "You're sick. I'm the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor, and I'm the reincarnation of Her Majesty. You're crazy. Don't not believe me." Yi Zichen licked his lips with a smile. Lu Jing rolled her eyes at him, reached into his pocket and took out his phone, then flew to the side to look at her notebook. Yi Zichen was a bit unhappy that no one could share his joy with him. At that moment, "Nameless, are you there?" A gentle voice suddenly sounded out in his mind. Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment. Then he immediately realized that it should be Chang Yi's voice transmission. "I'm here. What is it, fairy?" Chang, he wanted to say something in his mind, but then stopped. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "You finished the spicy gluten?" "No." Chang Yi instantly retorted. "Within the Moon Palace." Chang Yi wore a white veil over her face, but the worry between her eyebrows could be seen through the veil. Biting her lips, she held a bronze mirror in her hand. Looking at herself in the mirror, she sighed inexplicably. "Then what is it?" Yi Zichen's question sounded out in Chang Yi's sea of consciousness, causing her to frown even more. After a long while, she took out her phone and took a photo, as if she made up her mind, and sent it to Yi Zichen's WeChat. "Ding dong. Why are there people looking for you every day with your crappy phone?" Lu Jing, who was reading her notebook, angrily chucked her phone over. Yi Zichen caught the phone, then opened WeChat and saw that Chang Yi had sent him a photo. She wasn't called the #1 beauty of the heavenly court for nothing. She had a face that made people unable to help but fall for her even without any makeup. Her facial features were as if they were made by nature. This should be Chang Yi herself. However, Yi Zichen noticed that there were 2 pimples near Chang Yi's upper lip. Chapter 240. Getting poisoned by eating poop. Chong, Yi, who lived in the Moon Palace, got pimples on her face. This was rather new to Yi Zichen. In his mind, deities should have gotten rid of the impurities in their bodies during cultivation. Yi Zichen didn't think that eating spicy gluten would cause pimples. At that moment, Chong, Yi's voice transmission also sounded out in Yi Zichen's mind. You should have seen it. Recently, small bumps like this always appear on my face. After this one goes away, other ones will grow out. I don't want to hide it from you. But do you still like me like this? Yi Zichen was very touched. I really didn't expect Chong, Yi to be troubled over something like that. Yi Zichen chuckled. Yi Zichen smiled. Fairy is still very pretty now. What's more, I can deal with those pimples. How? Everyone loved beauty. When Yi Zichen said that, he felt like Chong, Yi's emotions were completely suspended. Fairy, don't worry. I'll send you 2 treasures after a while to help you deal with the pimples on your face. Can I do it now? Having pimples on her face every day affected her image in the heavenly court too much. I don't think so. The sky outside had already gradually darkened, so Yi Zichen couldn't go out to buy skincare products even if he wanted to. Then, all right. The next day, Yi Zichen, who had attended a whole morning of classes, immediately ran out of the school. When he passed by the forest in the school beauty son, our big bro wants to see you. Sun Yaij, who was holding a textbook, was blocked by 2 students in the forest. She frowned at the 2 students in front of her. I don't know your big bro. I don't know your big brother. Please step aside. With that, Sun Yaij raised her hand to push the 2 students. One of the students with slightly longer hair smiled playfully and subconsciously tried to grab that hand. School beauty son, our boss. Who's your boss? Yi Zichen patted the young man's shoulders with a smile, then stood in front of Sun Yaij and looked at the 2 students. Who are you? The long-haired student cursed in a prideful manner. There's actually someone in Polytechnic University that doesn't know me. Yi Zichen couldn't help but sigh when he saw the long-haired student's ignorance. Yi Zichen, don't worry about it. Brat, isn't this your... Just as the long-haired young man was about to continue cursing, the man with the buzz cut next to him pulled him and whispered something in his ear. Approximately half a minute later, the long-haired young man looked up at Yi Zichen again. Kid, it seems like you're a celebrity in your school, but our boss's reputation in school isn't any worse than yours. Yi Zichen was speechless. He didn't come here to compete for fame. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then glanced at the 2 students in front of him. If you're from another school, then there's nothing much to say. I'll give you 2 choices. Either get lost or get beaten up. Choose. The long-haired student glared at him, but Yi Zichen didn't have the patience to wait for them to finish. He directly made a choice for them. Looks like you guys want to get beaten up. Fine, I'll satisfy you. Ding, dang, dong. In no time, the 2 students from other schools were beaten to the ground. At the same time, the school security heard the commotion and rushed over. What's going on? Big bro security. These 2 grandsons from another school came to our school to harass our school beauty. I followed the principle of caring for my classmates and the righteousness that our mom taught us since we were young. So I beat these 2 grandsons up. From another school? The security frowned, then ignored the 2 people's shouts and dragged them up from the ground. Outsiders causing trouble in Polytechnic University, come with me to the security room. Yi Zichen, thank you, Sun Yaij said with a blush as she held her textbook. Hearing that, Yi Zichen laughed, then said with a teasing look in his eyes, you're too polite. On the other hand, our school beauty son's reputation is truly well known overseas. Even people from other schools can't help but reach out their evil hands to our school beauty Sunday. What? Sun Yaij punched Yi Zichen's chest. After Yi Zichen sent Sun Yaij back to the dorm, he went to buy skincare products for Chong, Yi according to his original plan. Yi Zichen saw a group of people standing in front of him before he even took 2 steps out of the school gate. The 2 students that he just beat up were among them. Boss, it's this grandson. Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh, then took out his phone to look at the time. Excuse me, I'm in a hurry. Yi Zichen walked towards the group of people. The long-haired young man, who was beaten up at the start, instantly cursed. Grandson, are you blind? Can't you see our boss? Slap. A slap landed on the long-haired young man's face. The huge force caused him to spin on the spot. I think you didn't learn from getting beaten up, right? All the students of Polytechnic University are like this. At that moment, the young man who stood in the center of the group walked out. The young man was 8 meters tall with a buzz cut. He did not have a very muscular body, but within his slightly skinny body, I can't tell anything. However, from the dark circles under his eyes and the 2 droopy eye bags, it was possible to tell that he was rather weak. I thought that only that dandy Fu Qingming would be able to do anything in Polytechnic University, but even he wouldn't dare to hit my people in front of me. What the hell? Yizichin looked at the buzz-cut young man, speechlessly. He really thinks that he's some big brother. I think you got poisoned from eating sh*t. Who gave you the confidence? You watched too much Young and Dangerous when you were young, right? Do you think that you're chicken, bro? Hurry up and f*ck off. Lousy is in a hurry. The buzz-cut young man, instantly revealed a sinister smile, revealing a row of white teeth as he stared straight at Yizichin. I wonder if your strength is as amazing as your mouth. With that, the buzz-cut young man formed claws with his hands, causing him to look rather imposing. His lackeys beside him, especially the long-haired young man, who was slapped by Yizichin, exclaimed, "Grandson, you're screwed. Grandson, you're finished." My boss tiger formed fist, bang. Before the long-haired young man finished, they saw that the buzz-cut young man, who was posing just now, was kicked into the corner by Yizichin. The footprint on his stomach was clearly visible, while there was also a palm print on his face. Idiot. With that, Yizichin stood on the side and called a taxi to leave. Only then did the buzz-cut young man's lackeys walk over. Boss, f*ck, this grandson doesn't play by the rules. The buzz-cut young man covered his face as he wiped his tears. The man with the buzz cut covered his face and wiped away his tears. I didn't even get into my f*king posture before he came up and beat me. Then what do you think we should do, Slap? The buzz-cut young man slapped the long-haired young man's head and cursed. Chapter 241. A dazzling lollipop. Yizichin bought a set of skincare product from the physical store, then hurried over to his supermarket. Yizichin couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the dust on the floor. If Zhuge Kongming was here, then the supermarket should be clean and tidy. I wonder how he's doing after going back. I really do miss him after not contacting him for so long. Yizichin cleaned up the supermarket, then the phone on the cashier rang. Ding dong. Chong, you received your red packet. John Doe, what did you send me? Chong, soft voice sounded out in his sea of consciousness. Yizichin sat on the cashier's chair, crossed his legs, and lit a cigarette for himself. At the same time, he replied, "These are skincare products for you to get rid of pimples." Skincare products? Chong was stunned. This was the first time she had heard of this term in her life. Yeah, the green bottle of plant acne removal essence is for you to get rid of the lumps on your face. The other facial cleansers and whatnot are all for cleansing the face and shrinking the pores. Didn't I also send you a usage manual? Just use it according to what it says. Okay. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Chong increased by 30. Current intimacy level, 630. Ding dong. Your affability level with Chong increased by 100. Current affability level, 2115. Recently, Bunny's spicy gluten. Chong Yi's hesitant voice transmission sounded out once again. Yizichin scratched his head. Who wouldn't get pimples from eating spicy gluten like this? Back then, he had sent Chong an amount that a normal person could eat for 2 months, but it was all gone in just a few days. Fairy, although spicy gluten is a treasure, you can't eat too much. Especially now that you have pimples, if you eat more, it might grow even more. It's not me, it's Bunny. All right, I understand. With that, Yizichin ran to the underground warehouse and sent all of the spicy gluten over to her. Ding dong. Chong, you received your red packet. I thank you in Bunny's stead. This jade rabbit truly took the blame. Yizichin raised his eyebrows and smiled, just as he was about to scroll through his moments. Boss, give me a lollipop. This is not for sale. Yizichin raised his eyebrows when his gaze met with the buyer's. How come it's you? You Ghost, the person who came to buy the goods was the young man outside Jing Wan's base, the one who said he saw Yi Zichen die. I was still looking for you. The young man's eyes widened as he lifted his leg and stepped on the cashier counter. Look at my leg. I was bitten by your dog last time. I spent more than $200 to get a rabies vaccine. Pay me back. He glanced at the young man's legs. Although this kid looked like an otaku, his leg hair was it was almost as big as a porcupine. Moreover, there were no bite marks on his legs. Young man, are you kidding me? With your leg hair, if my little white were to take a bite, his mouth would be pierced through. Besides, are there any bite marks on your leg? Or, where's your rabies vaccination form? Bring it to me, and I'll reimburse you. Do you think I'm a porcupine? The young man glared, then revealed a sinister smile. Don't care whether I was bitten or not. Even if I wasn't bitten, the mental damage fee for the day is $200. Hurry up and give it to me if you don't. What if I don't? Then, the young man's sinister face instantly turned fiery as he looked at the lollipop on the cashier counter. Give me a lollipop. What the hell? Yi Zichen took one down and placed it in his hand speechlessly. You want one of these? It's too dazzling. The young man stared at the lollipop and continuously gulped with a struggling expression. Give me this lollipop, then I won't cause trouble for you. Dazzling? Yi Zichen looked at the young man in shock. The burning light seemed like it was going to melt the lollipop in his hand. Was there a need for that? Yi Zichen couldn't bear to tease him anymore when he felt his obsession with the lollipop, so he subconsciously handed the lollipop over. Boss, you truly are a great person. Yi Zichen quickly snatched the lollipop and stuffed it into his mouth. He hurriedly snatched the lollipop, peeled off the skin, and stuffed it into his mouth. At the same time, he carefully put the 1 yuan in his hand back into his pocket and mumbled something in his mouth. I've saved up another huge sum of money. I can eat San Xian buns from Xiaoming's bun shop tomorrow morning. What's wrong with this bro? Is he living in such poverty? Yi Zichen glanced at him as he held the lollipop in his mouth with a look of happiness. Bro, what's your name? Me? The young man was unwilling to take the lollipop out of his mouth even though he was speaking, so he mumbled. I'm Go Yuzhan. Yi Zichen couldn't help but take another one over when he saw his love for lollipops. I'll give you another one. Boss. Go Yuzhan looked at the lollipop Yi Zichen handed over in shock. All of a sudden, he felt like Yi Zichen's entire body was bathed in a holy light. How can I accept that? Then don't. Before Yi Zichen could finish, he saw the lollipop in his hand return to Go Yuzhan's hand. Yi Zichen looked up and saw the coy smile on Go Yuzhan's face. I couldn't control my hand. Then, Go Yuzhan wanted to return the lollipop, but his hand really didn't seem to listen to him. All right, you can keep it. Boss, seriously. Go Yuzhan looked at Yi Zichen, who sat at the cashier counter with stars in his eyes. At that moment, the little ghost girl, Lu Jing, stretched lazily and came out of the dragon eye zoom. The lollipop in Go Yuzhan's hand slipped out his hand. Then, he leaped onto the floor and caught the lollipop, then quickly retreated to the door. Ghost! There's a ghost! Go Yuzhan took out a silver cross from his pocket with a trembling hand and stabbed it forward, while shouting towards Yi Zichen. Boss, hurry up and run. There's a ghost beside you. Yi Zichen was stunned. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then stood up from the cashier counter. At that moment, Lu Jing, who stood beside him, started to curl up in pain as if she had suffered some sort of trauma. Put away the cross. Lu Jing, enter the dragon eye. Zoom. Lu Jing instantly returned to the dragon eye. Go Yuzhan raised his eyebrows at Yi Zichen as if he was looking at a monster. Boss, Yi Zichen snatched the cross over, then activated the fiery eyes of truth and looked it over carefully. When he didn't find anything strange, he chucked the cross back into Go Yuzhan's hands. Then, he glanced at Go Yuzhan. When the golden light faded, Yi Zichen slowly squatted on the floor and raised his eyebrows as he looked at Go Yuzhan, who was still unwilling to let go of the lollipop in his hand. Chapter 242. CLA's humble attitude. Let's talk this out. If you want to snatch my lollipop. No way. Go Yuzhan held the lollipop tightly in his hands, unwilling to let go of it. When he heard that, Yi Zichen couldn't help but laugh helplessly. Did you forget who gave you this lollipop? Hearing this, Go Yuzhan blinked and pushed up his glasses. If you don't want lollipops, Everything is negotiable. I just want to ask you a few questions. If you answer them well, not only will I not take your lollipop, but whoosh. Yi Zichen took a box of lollipops from the cashier counter. Gulp. Too dazzling. Go Yuzhan licked his lips. He wanted to avert his gaze, but that head of his didn't seem to listen to his commands and didn't move at all. Ask away. You could see the female ghost beside me just now. Also, how did you get that cross? I can't see it, but I can feel it. Go Yuzhan licked his lollipop and mumbled, as for that cross, my family has a rule that it can't be revealed to outsiders. Yi Zichen immediately placed the lollipop in front of him. Too dazzling. Clenching his fists tightly, a look of struggle appeared on his face as he gulped down his saliva. In the end, he lost to the dazzling lollipop. That cross is an artifact that I forged myself. Pa! He tossed the lollipop over, and Go Yuzhan caught it with his right hand. He's really giving it to me. Go Yuzhan was taken aback. In an instant, he tossed aside all his principles and rules. Boss, do you need a magic artifact? I can sell it to you. All you need is a lollipop. I don't need it. You mentioned your family just now. What does your family do? Imperial capital? No, my family is from Bingshan. My dad runs a Taoist temple. Another lollipop was thrown over. Just like that, Yi Zichen asked and answered. When he asked most of his questions, the lollipop in his hand was almost gone. On the other hand, Go Yuzhan was beaming with joy. Boss, do you have any more questions? It wasn't every day that he would get a lollipop for answering a question. That's all. You can leave now. Boss, you really are a good person. With that, Go Yuzhan left the supermarket with a bunch of lollipops in his hands in satisfaction. Lu Jing, how are you? Yi Zichen said to Dragon Eye after sending Go Yuzhan away. With a flash of light, Lu Jing floated out of the Dragon Eye. She seemed to have completely recovered. I'm fine. That silver cross just now was really weird. That's a Dharma artifact that's specially used to control ghosts. That kid is actually a little Taoist. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled, but he was mostly speechless. They could open a Taoist temple. But why did they give him the feeling that they were poor? That little Taoist is not simple. Yi Zichen decided that he had to have a good chat with him the next time they met. As for whether or not the other party would tell him the truth, he wasn't worried at all. He had already grasped Go Yuzhan's weak spot, and he knew how to kick it with all his might. Ding dong. The phone on the table rang. Yi Zichen took a look at the message. CLA, are you there? Recently, this kid had been looking for him frequently. What now? Don't tell me that you broke the transformer again. I don't have anything that I want to exchange with you this time. Nope. CLA scratched his head and revealed a troubled expression. It's my grandpa's birthday in a few days. I want to give him a birthday present. Xiebian's birthday? You actually dare to know my grandpa's name? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in disdain when he saw CLA's message. Now that I know my identity, I'm the Yellow Emperor of the ancient 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, one of the giants of the rogue immortals. So what if I call Xiebian's name directly? It's just that I'm rather weak right now. Otherwise, call me directly or not. Why are you looking for me for Xiebian's birthday? That's something for you descendants to worry about. Is this guy an idiot? CLA, who sat on a stone chair in the back garden, frowned, while Bu-Er, who was sitting beside him, was doing a puzzle on the table. Bu-Er, tell me, are you playing dumb in front of me? Bu-Er doesn't know. Bu-Er tilted his head adorably. Bu-Er has never been a person before, so I don't know how people think. Never mind, just do your best. Oh, Bu-Er focused on the puzzle once again. Meanwhile, CLA licked his lips as he looked at the message on the screen. Big bro, don't make fun of little brother. Little brother wants to get some treasures that you only have in the mortal realm from you. Yi Zichen, who was smoking in the supermarket, was shocked when he saw CLA's message. Big bro, this brat actually lowered himself so much? At that moment, CLA sent another message. To be honest, although little brother is a descendant of the Ghost Marshal, the internal competition in the family is very serious. I belong to the kind that is the most disliked. You can tell from where I live that the descendants of the other families normally live in the Ghost Capital, but I live in the outskirts of the Ghost region, which overlaps with the mortal realm. This is seriously There's competition in the family when people are alive, but this person doesn't stop even when he's dead. Yi Zichen sighed softly when he saw the pitiful words. How about I send you 2 cartons of cigarettes? Cigarettes. My grandpa doesn't seem to like it. Doesn't like it? Cigarettes were extremely popular among male deities. Even King Qingguang of the underworld rewarded white impermanence with many treasures because she gave him a carton of cigarettes. Xie Bian actually didn't like it. My grandpa likes the tea of the mortal realm. This ghost marshal knows how to take care of himself. Yi Zichen looked around the supermarket and found that he seemed to have bought some jasmine tea that cost 2 yuan a while ago. After a long while, Yi Zichen found the crushed jasmine tea with the help of the fiery eyes of truth. Scan. Send. Ding dong. Level 1 Ghost Messenger Xie Lei received your red packet. This. Xie Lei opened his eyes wide as he looked at the tea leaves in his hands. At this moment, Yi Zichen also replied. I don't have any good tea leaves here, so I'll give this to you first. If I find better ones, then I'll send it to you. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with level 1 Ghost Messenger Xie Lei increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 200. Ding dong. Intimacy level leveled up. Current intimacy level, 200. Big bro, thank you so much. He had always been pushed aside by the younger generation of the family, while Xie Bian had always been busy with work, so he had no time to care about the fights between the younger generation. The only day he could stand out was during Xie Bian's birthday banquet. With this tea, he would have a chance to turn things around. At that time, big bro, what do you need little brother to do? As long as little brother can do it, I will definitely do it for you. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes the moment he saw the message. Are you sure? I'm sure. Chapter 243. New employees of Hellhe had already delayed entering the Hellwe chat group for far too long. Although that old man Tai by jinxing hadn't been particularly pressuring him to do so recently, this wasn't a reason for him to delay his entry. Xie Lei was also stunned when he saw Yi Zichen's message. The underworld did have an employee chat group. The people in the group were all at least level 3 or above, while Yi Zichen was a mere mortal. Big brother Yi, our underworld group requires at least a level 3 ghost servant to enter. Level 3 netherworld operative? Yi Zichen quickly took a peek at the yin-yang box. Level 4 emissary of hell. Just invite me in. My level is high enough. Xie Lei was dumbfounded for nearly a minute after he said that. Even a ghost that had stayed in the underworld for 100 years might not be able to become a level 3 ghost servant. Yi Zichen thought that it might be an excuse for Yi Zichen to make him believe, you have invited idealism to join the group. He really came in. Yi Zichen looked at the message of entering the group in shock. While excitement filled Yi Zichen's face, he had finally entered the underworld group. The next time Tai Bai Jinxing looked for him, he wouldn't have to be afraid. Oxhead, a new ghost has entered the group. Report your 3 measurements. Horseface, a newbie caught alive. I think he was brought in by Marshal Xie's 3rd grandson. Judge Chui, I'll make a record of the official positions of the people who enter the group. Oxhead, Horseface, do you want to die? How dare you say that young Master Xie Lei is the 3rd grandson? Hua Tua. Oh my, there's a new member in the group. Yi Zichen looked at the messages in the underworld group in shock. It's pretty much the same as the heavenly court. All of them are talking about familiar stuff. But who the hell is this Hua Tua? Is he really the Hua Tua from back then? Oxhead, why hasn't the new ghost appeared? Since Oxhead mentioned it in the group, Yi Zichen quickly sent Xie Lei a private message. Tag me in the group and tell them that I'm your follower. Is that okay? Xie Lei hesitated and said, I've never treated you as my little brother. I'm a little brother. Why was this kid so stubborn? If he were to say that he was his follower in the group chat, wouldn't he be skinned alive by the people of the underworld? Strategy, this is a type of strategy. That's exactly what you said. All right then. Not long later, Yi Zichen saw Xie Lei mention him in the underworld group. Level 1 Ghost Messenger Xie Lei. Only idealism. This is my follower. Please help me out in the future. Oxhead, we will definitely take good care of young Master Xie's follower. Horseface, Brother Oxhead is right. Magistrate Chui, In that case, I won't register my official position. Seeing that most of the people in the group had finished, Yi Zichen finally took the chance to speak up. Yi Zichen, hello everyone. Oxhead, all right. We'll be a family in the future. Let's be closer. Yi Zichen, no problem. The people in the group chatted about Yi Zichen's new ghost for a while, then returned to their usual banter. Yi Zichen lurked in the group for a while. How stingy. No red packets. Could it be that red packets aren't popular in the underworld chat group? Yi Zichen, who didn't believe it, lurked in the group for another half an hour. Most of the people in the group were talking about the strange things he heard when he caught the ghost yesterday. However, there was no red packet. Yi Zichen also gave up after not receiving any red packets. Just then, ding-dong. A red envelope suddenly appeared on the screen. He had been lying low for so long, waiting for this moment. Poke, you received level 3 Ghost Messenger Xie Chong's red packet. Azure Underworld Fruit X1 Azure Underworld Fruit. The fruit of the Azure Underworld's cold land. Effect: greatly increases the cultivation of ghost servant level experts. Ding dong. The system has detected the item needed to level up the immortal heart of pure yang. Azure Underworld Fruit. Level 4 Immortal Heart of Pure Yang upgrade item activated. Azure Underworld Fruit X1 Hell's Lotus X1. The series of system notifications wasn't the main point. The main point was level 3 Ghost Messenger Xie Chong. I heard that my useless third bro invited a lackey into the group. It seems like he doesn't have anything to send red packets with, so the older bro, will do it for him. Oxhead, young Master Xie is so generous. Horseface, big bro Oxhead is right. Hua, ta. The brotherly relationship is truly enviable. However, this old man didn't manage to get it. These youngsters are too fast. Level 3 Ghost Messenger Xie Chong. Hua Tua. I'll send a private red packet to Elder Hua later. Hua Ta. How can I? The veteran lurker Yi Zichen glanced at the scrolling messages on the screen. The person who sent the red packet should be Xie Bian's grandson. From the way the group calls him, he seems to be the boss. Level 3 Ghost Messenger Xie Chong. Level 1 Ghost Messenger CLA. Little bro, aren't you going to come out and thank us? You wouldn't have forgotten our Xie family's etiquette, right? Level 1 Ghost Messenger CLA. Thank you, big bro, for helping me send the red packet, but little bro just forgot to send it. Ding dong. As soon as he finished speaking, another red packet appeared on the screen. I'll poke. Wind Thunder Fruit X1 Wind Thunder Fruit. The fruit of the Wind Thunder tree on the cliff of the Howling Canyon in the 13th underground floor of Hell. Effect: it can refine the purity of celestial, spiritual energy. Oxhead, third young Master Xie is so generous. Horseface, big bro Oxhead is right. Huata. I didn't get it again. A row of regretful emojis. Level 1 Ghost Messenger CLA. If Elder Huan needs it, I'll send you a private red packet later. Level 3 Ghost Messenger Xie Chong. Third bro, why are you so stubborn? Level 1 Ghost Messenger CLA. Big bro doesn't need to care about this. With that, CLA and Xie Chong did not speak in the group. All of a sudden, the atmosphere in the group became rather dry. Even Oxhead and Horseface, who were rather active, did not dare to speak. From the looks of it, the relationship between these brothers was really tense. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and left the group. When he looked up, he saw Lulu looking at him with a giggle. Oh my god! Yi Zichen nearly fell down from his chair when someone like that suddenly appeared in front of him. Lulu blinked her cute eyes, while her pink lips curled up slightly. Why are you so scared? How did you get here without anyone noticing? Yi Zichen coughed dryly. Lulu pouted. I've been here for a long time. I just didn't want to disturb you since you were playing with your phone. Then you saw everything? I saw a bit. What Oxhead and Horseface? Are you chatting with the people of the underworld? Lulu blinked her large watery eyes, which were filled with curiosity. Also, why do you have a ghost girl by your side? What does she do? You really have too many questions. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at Lulu, then indicated Lu Jing to return to the dragon eye first. Then, he lit a cigarette for himself with a frown. What did you find me for this time? To protect you. The corners of Lulu's mouth rose as she said, "Just now, I felt that there were two people sneakily staring at you, so I helped you get rid of them. Don't thank me too much." "What?" Yi Zichen suddenly stood up from the chair and saw the two Ho brothers, who were tied up with ropes, lying in front of the supermarket with bruised faces. Chapter 244. Burning the soul for love. Yi Zichen exchanged 2 pills from the treasure shop for the Ho brothers to eat, then looked helplessly at Lulu, who had her head lowered like a child who had done something wrong, with a sigh. "Look at you." Lulu pouted and blinked her big, watery eyes. "I didn't know they were your bodyguards. When I arrived, I could feel them staring at you suspiciously. Even you, the reincarnated you, could face danger when you follow us. That's why Besides, your bodyguards are too weak." Yi Zichen was slightly stunned, while the Ho brothers, who were sitting on the ground, blushed. How despicable. Whoosh. A white van stopped in front of the supermarket. Yi Zichen looked up and saw that the first person to walk out was the long-haired student that he beat up, followed by the buzz-cut young man with a paper ball stuffed in his nose. "Boss, the information is correct. That brat is really here." The right side of the long-haired young man's face was still swollen, probably from Yi Zichen's slap. The man with the buzz cut standing behind him raised his hand and slapped the long-haired young man's head. "Nonsense. I spent a lot of money to buy this information." As soon as he finished speaking, he strode forward with his hands on his waist. "What are you doing here?" Yi Zichen stood up from the ground. Lulu also stood up after him and stuck close to him. The moment he saw Lulu, the young man with the crew cut exploded. "Grandson, you already have such a pretty girl by your side, yet you're still trying to snatch Sun Yide from me. You're two-timing. I think you're seriously poisoned." Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance, then he shook his head. "How am I two-timing? If you're trying to say that you're not Sun Yide's boyfriend, then why the F***CK did you hit my people? You're talking about this." Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. "It's mainly because your lackeys are too stupid. I want to beat him up the moment I see him." The man with the buzz cut smiled sinisterly and immediately got into the posture of the tiger fist. "I want to duel with you, for my most sincere love." As soon as he finished speaking, the buzz-cut man spoke again. "You'll only make your move, if I say so. My tiger fist takes a long time to charge up. I lost to you just now because I didn't have enough time to charge up. This person must have eaten too many retarded pills. Was there need to ask people to wait for a while in battle? And even took the initiative to expose his weakness?" However, Yi Zichen had nothing better to do, so he decided to wait. A minute passed. 5 minutes passed. So slow. Yi Zichen finished a cigarette, while Lulu twitched her mouth speechlessly. Yi Zichen, who lost his patience, took out his phone to look at the time, then walked forward. Ding, dang, dong. In less than 3 seconds, Yi Zichen knocked the buzz-cut young man onto the ground once again. "Sorry, I'm in a hurry." When Yi Zichen and Lulu left, the buzz-cut young man stood up with the help of the long-haired young man. His face was bruised and swollen, and his other nostril was also bleeding. "Boss, just half a minute more, just half a minute more." The buzz-cut young man clenched his fist tightly, while his eyes were filled with unwillingness. The long-haired young man also agreed on the side. "Yeah, that grandson only knows how to use underhanded methods. Otherwise, boss would definitely beat him until all his teeth fell out. For my purest and most sincere love, I am willing to burn my own soul." The buzz-cut young man's eyes were filled with passion. Even though the blood from his nostril flowed past his lips and dripped onto the ground, he still held his head high, his pose. But before that, the buzz-cut young man looked towards the supermarket in front of him and smiled coldly. "This should be that brat supermarket, right? Heh, since he's being heartless, then don't blame me for being unjust." The two of them walked towards the supermarket, but before they reached it, 2 hulks appeared in front of them. The Ho brothers. Ding, dang, dong. The Ho brothers stood in front of the supermarket with bruised eyes. The buzz-cut young man's face was swollen like a pig's head, while the long-haired young man was not spared either. "We have to be patient." The man with the buzz cut bit his lips hard. Tears glistened in his eyes, but he forced himself not to let them fall. We are all from the Northeast. A cheerful ringtone sounded. The young man with the crew cut reached into his pocket and put the phone to his ear. The moment he heard the voice on the phone, he burst into tears. "Dad, I was beaten." "Lulu, don't you have any private matters at all?" Yizichin finally couldn't help but stop when Lulu walked past the 48th intersection with him. "I don't think so. Besides, I just want to follow you." Yizichin sighed helplessly. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you. Did I follow you like this in my previous life? I'm Junbao Zhang. I can't follow you around every day. It's about the same even if you don't follow me every day." Lulu blinked her eyes and giggled. "I've never been here before. Show me around. I heard from a lot of classmates that girls like to go shopping. Bring me along to experience it." Yizichin scratched his head, then put his hands on his waist and looked around. "It seems like the commercial street is just ahead, sure. Shopping could be said to be a woman's nature." Even Lulu's eyes sparkled when she saw the dazzling array of goods, beautiful clothes, and shoes in the shopping mall. "Let go. I told you very clearly, we're over." An angry shout sounded out in the mall. Plenty of customers looked over, including Yizichin. A rather handsome man with a tall figure cursed angrily near the mall's escalator. Kneeling beside him was a weeping beauty. Listening to their conversation, it seemed that the woman was the man's ex, Lian. "You can't do this to me," the woman cried out. A dark look flashed across the man's eyes. Then he kicked the woman away. "You lousy's done playing. Do you understand?" Plenty of customers near Yizichin discussed softly, all of them criticizing the man. "So scum." Yizichin licked his lips and raised his eyebrows towards Lulu in accordance to his principle of not caring about it. "Let's go. Aren't we going to help? That woman is so pitiful." Lulu pouted. Yizichin rubbed her head. "You're not going to help her? In this place, being chivalrous and compassionate is not useful. You can watch the show, but don't meddle in other people's business. I'll teach you a lesson today. What matters here is not caring about it. Just don't care. Didn't you say that you were thirsty just now? There's a cold drink store in front. I'll take you there." "Oh, sure. Lian, don't think that I don't know why you left me. Wasn't it because of that woman called Mu Jinglei?" At that moment, the woman's scream sounded out near the escalator. Chapter 245. "Scum, where are you going? Aren't we going to get some cold drinks?" Lulu followed behind him with small steps. Yizichin chuckled, then reached out and patted her shoulder. "I'll teach you another lesson. Although this place is all about staying aloof when it's none of your business, there's also a saying that goes, 'Roar when you see injustice, and make a move when you need to.'" With that, Yizichin squinted his eyes and quickly walked towards the stairs. If I didn't hear wrongly, the woman mentioned Mu Jinglei. If that's the case, then I have to roar. "Lian, don't think that I, Bao Shi, am someone to be trifled with. I know all about your shady dealings." The woman who called herself Bao Shi, who knelt on the floor, stared at the man in front of her. She took out her phone and opened the photo album. The photo album was filled with photos of Lian and a woman. "Beauty, can I take a look at the photo?" Yizichin smiled. Bao Shi nodded, then handed the phone over and shouted, "Everyone take a look. Everyone take a look. Remember this scum's appearance. If anyone knows the girl in the photo, then hurry up and tell her to stay away from this scum. Otherwise, my current appearance will be her future appearance." The photos on the phone were clearly taken secretly. Most of them were of backs, but Yizichin was able to confirm that it was Mu Jinglei's side profile. Bang! Yizichin kicked Li in anger, sending him flying 4 to 5 meters away. Lulu also helped Bao Shi up from the ground. At the same time, Yizichin also slowly moved towards Lian. "Security!" Lian called out to the mall's security with fear in his eyes. Slap! Yizichin slapped Lian's face, then grabbed Lian's collar with his right hand. "Mu Jinglei is your girlfriend?" Protect slap. Yizichin slapped Lian once again. The force of the slap caused Lian's entire face to swell up. "Answer my question. Why you're her boyfriend?" "Impossible. She's single," Lian replied frantically. Hearing that, Yizichin chuckled, then tilted his head and slapped Lian once again. "Looks like that's the case. In that case, I hereby announce that you two have broken up. When Yi Zichen estimated that the security team was about to arrive, Yi Zichen, who grabbed Li In by the collar, threw him onto the ground. Don't blame me for not warning you. If we don't break up, I won't let you live in Ice City. Yi Zichen spat at Lian, then walked in front of Lulu and Bao Shi with his hands in his pockets. Are you unhappy that I hit your ex-boyfriend? It's better to beat him to death, this scum. Bao Shi cursed fiercely, then said, Do you know Mu Jinglei? If you do, then hurry up and tell her. Don't be fooled by this scum's appearance. Back then, Bao Shi's tears fell uncontrollably when she mentioned the sad part. Everything will pass. They left the mall via the escalator. Not long after they left, the security team rushed over from the side of the mall. Mu Jinglei was among them. Lian. Mu Jinglei squatted on the ground worriedly as she caressed Lian's face with her fingers. Why did you get into a fight with someone? It's nothing. Just now, an employee from the company came over to cause trouble because her superior kept exploiting her. I originally wanted to talk things out with him, but when he got emotional, he slapped me twice. You need to properly manage the management of your company. How can you suffer because of what they did? Mu Jinglei's face was filled with anger and blame. Li In smiled brightly, then reached out his hand to caress her hair. It's a boss, so I have to put in more effort than others. Quite a few people in the crowd guessed that the woman in front of them should be the supporting actress from the incident just now. Some kind-hearted people wanted to go up and expose her, but they were dragged away by the people around them. Didn't they hear that she already established a company? This sort of person wasn't someone they could offend. Lian stood up from the ground with Mu Jinglei's support and dusted off the dust on his body. Jinglei, we've known each other for more than a year. Actually, I've always wanted to tell you something. What are you talking about? Let's go to the hospital first. Mu Jinglei helped Lian walk out of the mall. Mu Jinglei supported Li In and was about to walk out of the mall when he shook his head and took out a ring from his pocket. At the same time, he also knelt down on one knee. Marry me. This was Lian's most common method of picking up girls. He would propose with a ring and sweet words, and 99% of women would climb into his bed at night. Based on his many years of experience, Mu Jinglei was an original good. Didn't that man just tell him to leave Mu Jinglei? He could, but even if he left, she would be a second-hand good by then. Mu Jinglei was also stunned by this scene. It was impossible to say that she wasn't tempted. In the 1 year that they had been dating, the feeling that Li In gave her was really like her ideal type, but she kept feeling that the two of them were still some distance away from marriage. Biting her lips, she helped Li In up from the ground. Li In, can you let me think about it? What's there to think about? Do you still want to test me after so long? Li In's question was just right. Mu Jinglei shook her head and said, No, but I feel like we're still some distance away from marriage. Let me think about it. Let's go to the hospital to check on your injuries first. Never mind. Li In, who maintained his bright smile, suddenly flung Mu Jinglei's hand away and left through the elevator. Actually, this was one of his methods as well. Retreat in order to advance. If there were no surprises, then Mu Jinglei would call him before the sun sets. Even if she doesn't, he had a second plan. Li In took out his phone, covered his swollen face, and frowned at the person on the other side of the phone. Let's play a few big games. This time, let him lose. Yi Zichen found out from Bao Shi that Li Un was the boss of company. Of course, the scale of the company was rather small, but he could be considered as a successful person among his peers. Yi Zichen didn't mind it too much. He had already warned Li In. If Li In still didn't stop, then Yi Zichen didn't mind using some methods that only rich kids would use to deal with him. The sun set in the west. Due to Yi Zichen, the school beauty harvester, taking action once again, his roommates isolated him. Yi Zichen laid on his bed in the dormitory and scrolled through his WeChat. Apart from his WeChat friends who were WeChat merchants, Yu Lao was the one who spammed the most. However, the frequency of him spamming had decreased recently. Yi Zichen didn't know whether it was because the deities complained or because he was already famous and didn't need to advertise. Ding dong. At that moment, Yi Zichen's phone rang. It was a familiar sound. Chapter 246. Grab a rib and kick it hard. Which group sent the red packet? Yi Zichen quickly opened the chat interface and looked at the Heavenly Court's chat group at the top. A red packet from the Heavenly Court. Yi Zichen's heart instantly sank. Given the speed at which the immortal in the Heavenly Court snatched red packets, it would be a miracle if he could snatch one now. Yi Zichen clicked on the chat group and tried it out. He was too slow, and the red packets were all snatched up. He guessed it right away. Under the urging of his curiosity, Yi Zichen looked at the treasures in the red packet. The one who gave out the red packets was the clairaudient. There were a total of 100 red packets, and all of them were 1,000-mile sound-seeking talismans. Immortality Peach Fairy. If I snatch one, I can go to the pawn shop to exchange it for cultivation experience. God of Thunder. How many Immortality Peach Fairies can you be? Mother of Lightning. Yulao. How much should we pawn this talisman for? God of Thunder. Yulao isn't in the group anymore. Immortality Peach Fairy. AI. A few of the more talkative ones have left the group. Wind-catching ears. What's wrong? Did a deity leave the group? Barefoot Immortal. Years ago, there was a great battle in the group. Clairaudient Immortal just joined the group, so it's not strange that you don't know about it. Qinlian, can you tell me a thing or two? Immortality Peach Fairy. All-seeing eyes. Great deity. There are administrators spying on this group. If you speak carelessly, your salary will be deducted. Wu Gang sighed. Yi Zichen, don't talk nonsense. If that old man Tai Bai Jinxing sees this, he will inevitably punish you. Qinlian, it's your turn to give out red packets. Immortality Peach Fairy. Great deity has spoken. Chang'e, shy emoji. Wu Gang sighed. Heavenly Soldier, a sigh. A row of sighs filled the screen. It looked like these single dogs still hadn't gotten over the PDA between him and Chang'e. Qinlian, only idealism. Is this the nameless sky lord who recently rose to fame in the Heavenly Court? Immortality Peach Fairy. Correct, but there's no reward. Great deity wants you to send a red packet. God of Thunder. Red packet, red packet. Mother of Lightning. Red packet, red packet. Qinlian, it's an honor to meet you. I'll send you a red packet now. Ding dong. Poke. How long had it been since Yi Zichen snatched a red packet in the Heavenly Courts group chat? Yi Zichen felt a bit moved the moment he did so. You have received Qianlian's red envelope. 1,000-li tracking talisman x 1,000-mile tracking talisman. One could see 1,000 miles with one's eyes. Then, he glanced at the red packets sent by Qinlian. There were a total of 100 red packets, and all of them contained the same talisman. He curled his lips. He thought that he would be able to snatch some rare treasure. Yi Zichen didn't argue with them anymore, so he left the group. Ding dong. At that moment, Tai Bai Jinxing sent Yi Zichen a message. Tai Bai Jinxing, you know how to help me maintain the group. Not bad. You deserve a reward. Who helped him maintain the group? Yi Zichen was completely confused. Then he recalled the excuse he used to ask for the red packet. This was considered protecting the group. Tai Bai Jinxing, recently, I've been rather busy. The deities in the group are also rather afraid of you. In the future, you can appear more often in the group. I will reward you greatly. Great Immortal, I'm quite busy in real life. Let's discuss the maintenance of the group later. Just log in and take a look when you have the time. By the way, how's the infiltration of the underworld going? Mission completed. Really? Obviously, Tai Bai Jinxing still had some doubts about him. Yi Zichen didn't explain to him. He directly took a screenshot of the chat group and sent it over. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Tai Bai Jinxing increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 200. Ding dong. Intimacy level leveled up. Current intimacy level, trusted. Not bad. This is your reward for infiltrating the underworld's group. Ding dong. A red packet appeared on the screen. Yi Zichen accepted it. You received Tai Bai Jinxing's red packet. Cultivation experience x 10,000. Yi Zichen instantly laughed when he saw the mission reward. He had worked so hard to get into the underworld's group, and in order to get so much intimacy level with the underworld, in exchange, he got 10,000 cultivation experience. Great Immortal Tai Bai, you're too stingy. Yi Zichen was speechless. Tai Bai Jinxing was stunned for a moment, then replied, What do you mean? It's not like you don't know about my business in the heavenly court. Yu Lao gets several 100,000 cultivation experience from me every time he buys goods from me. I worked so hard to get into the Underworld's group, and you only gave me 10,000 cultivation experience. You're saying that you're not stingy? You still dare to mention this? Tai Bai Jinxing frowned. Recently, the junk food that you've sent to the heavenly court has severely affected the aesthetics of the heavenly court. There are fruit peels and paper everywhere, and the packaging of your food is also poisonous. Don't flatter me. Can deities like you not deal with such a small problem? Yizichin rolled his eyes. Even a place like the modern realm, where mortals live, could deal with this. He refused to believe that the deities in the heavenly court couldn't. Huh! Tai Bai Jinxing snorted coldly. It seemed like he agreed. Great immortal Tai Bai, don't bother with a commoner like me over such a small matter. I feel like your mission reward should be increased. How do you want to increase it? 100,000 cultivation experience? Although Tai Bai Jinxing was dissatisfied with Yi Zichen's negotiation, there was nothing he could do. There was no one in the heavenly court that could infiltrate the underworld staff chat. Only Yi Zichen, the middleman of the three realms, could do it. I don't want cultivation experience. I can earn cultivation experience anywhere. I want some good treasures. Pills, spiritual talismans, celestial robes, secret scriptures, divine plants, anything that is useful to me is fine. Don't be too greedy. Tai Bai Jinxing frowned. Greedy? I don't think so. I put in the corresponding amount of work, so I naturally have to get the corresponding amount of rewards. What's more, my life is so dangerous. I'm a spy. If the spy in the TV shows gets caught, then they will either die or be crippled. This sovereign doesn't understand what you're saying. Then you don't want to give it to me. Fine, then I'm quitting. I'm leaving the group. Ding dong. A voice message suddenly appeared on the screen. It seems like this geezer, Tai Bai Jinxing, is a bit anxious. Yi Zichin clicked open the voice message with a smile, then heard an aged and slightly angry voice. What exactly do you want? Don't challenge this sovereign's bottom line. I want treasures. Yi Zichin could be a bit scared when Tai Bai Jinxing got angry before. However, what was his current identity? He was the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor. All the giants of the three realms and the celestial realm were his bros. What was there for him to be scared of? I'll give you 300,000 cultivation experience once. No, I want treasures. Yi Zichin's ultimate goal of earning cultivation experience was to exchange for treasures in the treasure shop. What's more, there weren't all the treasures there, so he might as well just get Tai Bai Jinxing to send them to him. I'm leaving the group. Tai Bai Jinxing instantly lost all of his anger when he saw Yi Zichin's reply. After struggling for a bit, he let out a long sigh helplessly. Fine, I'll give it up. Grabbing a weak spot and kicking it hard is definitely useful. Yi Zichin licked his lips, then returned the 10,000 cultivation experience he just received, then sent a message on the screen. Chapter 247. Level 4 Immortal Heart of Pure Yang. When Yi Zichin first entered the Underworld staff group, he managed to get the Azure Underworld Fruit, the item needed to level up his Immortal Heart of Pure Yang to level 4. Now, he only lacked the Hell's Lotus to upgrade his Immortal Heart of Pure Yang. Previously, he had searched the treasure shop, but there was no such treasure. What do you want a Hell's Lotus for? Tai Bai Jinxing raised his eyebrows, then replied to Yi Zichin. Seeing that, Yi Zichin knew that the geezer definitely had the treasure. Don't worry so much. Send me the Hell's Lotus, and I'll help you. If you don't, I'm leaving the group. Tai Bai Jinxing clenched his teeth in anger. He clearly knew that Yi Zichin was just scaring him, but he did not dare to take the risk. The barefooted were not afraid of those who wore shoes. What if he really retired? He gritted his teeth. Ding dong. Yi Zichin smiled when he saw the red packet on the screen. You have received Tai Bai Jinxing's red packet. Hell's Lotus X1. The system has detected that the Immortal Heart of Pure Yang can be upgraded to level 4. Do you want to proceed with the upgrade? Yes. Ding dong. Immortal Heart of Pure Yang has successfully leveled up. Current level, level 4. Experience gained in a single day, X8. False spiritual body, Xie, Tai Bai Jinxing. Yi Zichin smiled in satisfaction, while Tai Bai Jinxing of the Heavenly Court revealed a pained expression. This was a treasure that he had found in the underworld 10,000 years ago. Now that the relationship between the underworld and the heavenly court was very tense, it could be said that this hell's lotus could be considered a peerless treasure. Yi Zichen, a mere mortal, managed to scam it just like that. After a long time, Tai Bai Jinxing calmed himself down and said, "Now that you've accepted the treasure, you have to work hard for me. If anything happens in the underworld, you have to inform me immediately." "No problem. As long as the treasure is in place, the information on my side will definitely be in place as well." "I hope so." The next afternoon, Yi Zichen arrived at Yu's home. Zhang Lingling had already completely fused with her lost soul. She radiated a strange aura, but what made Yi Zichen speechless was, it seemed like this girl did not lose any of her memories, including Ji Gongyun. Zhang Lingling's scream rang out in the room. Yi Zichen smiled helplessly and shrugged. "Can you stop for a moment and introduce yourself?" "I'm Yi Zichen." In my eyes, you're Ji Gongruo." With that, Zhang Lingling leaned over in an extremely coquettish manner. She hugged Yi Zichen's arm with both hands and rested her cheek on his shoulder. Yi, when you saw this scene, he was completely stunned on the spot. He stared blankly at Zhang Lingling and Yi Zichen, who were stuck together, while a sharp dagger appeared in his hand. "Yi Zichen, I'm very grateful that you helped Lingling find her soul, but what do you mean by this?" Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly. "Can't you tell that I'm actually the victim here?" Zhang Lingling's small face was full of enjoyment as she stuck to him. When she opened her eyes and saw the dagger in Yu's hand, she immediately cried out, "Second uncle, what are you doing? Don't you dare bully my Gongyun." The petite body blocked in front of Yi Zichen, causing you to stare blankly at this scene. "Go back and rest for a while. You need a rest now. I still have some things to discuss with you." "I don't want to go back." "Hurry up. Do you want to see me angry?" With that, Yi Zichen furrowed his brows. Seeing this scene, Zhang Lingling hurriedly used her hand to calm the frown on her face and said, "Don't frown, I'll go back." After sending Zhang Lingling back to her bedroom, Yu, who was standing in the living room in a daze, spoke. "Can you tell me what's going on? Why is my niece so attached to you?" "You're asking me? Who am I supposed to ask?" "Your niece might have mistaken me for someone else. That's why she's sticking to me like this. You can solve your own problems." "I don't care." "Hey, you're an uncle." Yi Zichen took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit one for himself, then crossed his legs and said, "How's Huda doing recently?" "Huda." Yu's face revealed a trace of indescribable color as he said, "He returned to the imperial capital, and he seems to be in a hurry." Hearing that, Yi Zichen smirked. If there was no accident, it should be the god of fortune making a move. The Hua family's economic chain should have some crisis. It's good to go back to the capital. That way, he won't order you to kill me every day. I'll be living in fear every day. Yi Zichen revealed a playful expression. A hint of coldness surfaced on Yu's face. "Actually, before Huda left, he told me to kill you if there's a chance." Whoosh! A sharp dagger appeared in his hand. "Do you think I will succeed if I make a move now?" Cough, cough. Yi Zichen inhaled a mouthful of smoke, then started to cough intensely. He looked to the side with vigilance. Feeling the other party's nervousness, Yu put away the dagger and smiled. "I'm just joking with you. Don't be nervous. I'm not a threat to you at all right now. Your cold joke is really cold." After leaving Yu's place, Yi Zichen headed straight for Xiao Yumei's medical company. Although the registered capital of the company was astounding, the scale was not particularly large. When Yi Zichen arrived at Xiao Yumei's office, he intentionally entered without knocking. Within the office, Xiao Yumei was sipping coffee in front of the window. She didn't even notice Yi Zichen enter. "Yumei." Yi Zichen, who stood at the door, called out softly. At this moment, Xiao Yumei, who was in front of the window, turned around and revealed a forced smile. "You came." Whenever she had this sort of expression, it meant that she was troubled by something or that she was in some sort of trouble. "Yeah, I missed you." Yi Zichen walked beside Xiao Yumei with a smile, then snatched the cup of coffee from her hands and drank it all. "It seems like you're in a bad mood. What other trouble is there?" Yi Zichen placed the cup of coffee onto the desk, then smiled in surprise. You can even tell that? Then do you think you know what kind of eyes I have? Fiery eyes of truth. What can I tell? Yi Zichen pulled Xiao Yumei into his embrace, then pursed his lips as he looked into her watery eyes. Let me see just what could make our Yumei so troubled. Then see for yourself, Xiao Yumei smiled. Xiao Yumei smiled. Yi Zichen acted like he was dancing, and continuously pinched his fingers as he rolled his eyes. Is it because our Yumei is too pretty, so she's troubled because she has too many pursuers? If that's really the case, then I should be the one troubled. I'm just a poor student. I can't compare to those successful people. Hee, they're just a bunch of sanctimonious dogs, Xiao Yumei snorted. Xiao Yumei snorted. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned, then looked at her blankly. Chapter 248. I don't have a good temper. Xiao Yumei couldn't help but smile when she saw Yi Zichen's shocked expression, then swiped her finger across his face. No, I was just exclaiming. You scared me to death. Yi Zichen let out a sigh. Yi Zichen let out a sigh of relief. He just gotten rid of that scourge. If another one appeared, then he really would have to use extreme measures. Then what happened? Did something happen to the medical company? Xiao Yumei was shocked when she heard that. Then she looked at Yi Zichen's head a few times in surprise. Are you really my little man? When did you become so smart? Yi Zichen's expression darkened. Was I really an idiot before? Is there a need for such a huge reaction from such a simple question? Yi Zichen grabbed Xiao Yumei's hand with a smile. What happened to the medical company? Did something happen to the operations? There aren't any problems with the operations. On the contrary, the market is abnormally hot, Xiao Yumei said plainly. That's a good thing. A huge market demand meant that the company was making money. That shouldn't be the reason for Xiao Yumei's expression. The bigger the market, the bigger the profits. When the profits are big, there will always be people who want a piece of the pie. I see. A cold smile surfaced on Yi Zichen's face. Dong dong dong. Someone knocked on the office door. Not long later, Li Minghu walked in. Director Xiao, yo, Bossy is here as well. Li Minghu raised his eyebrows. After Xiao Yumei and Yi Zichen both nodded towards him, they all sat down on the sofa. Tiger, I've disturbed you too, right? Let me apologize here, but Tiger, I have something urgent to talk to you about. What is it? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Xiao Yumei revealed a worried expression, as if she had already guessed the reason why Li Minghu came. Hey, our special medicine was extremely popular in the market a while ago, but for some reason, it hasn't been sold at all these days. Li Minghu squinted his eyes and smiled. Yi Zichen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he saw Xiao Yumei's expression. Yumei, what do you know? Xiao Yumei nodded. It should be the Han family's young master, Han Qi. What's his background? Yi Zichen frowned, while Li Minghu, who was sitting across from him, froze. Bossy, you don't know Han Qi? This was the second young master of the Han family, one of the three great families of Ice City, Han Qi. If he's really behind this, then it'll be a little troublesome. Dong, dong, dong. At this moment, there was a knock on the office door. President Xiao, that guy is here again. Li Shuang stood in front of the door and frowned. Xiao Yumei also revealed a bitter expression and said, Got it. I'll be there in a bit. After replying to Li Shuang, Xiao Yumei couldn't help but shake her head and smile. Speak of the devil. Han Qi is here. A young man with dyed burgundy hair was sitting on the sofa in the lobby of the pharmaceutical company. The young man was dressed like a street thug, with tattoos all over his arms and fingers. No one would have guessed that this young man was Han Qi, the second son of the Han family of Bingsheng. Hey, little girl, have you called your boss yet? I've been sitting here for almost 5 minutes. Han Qi's voice was slightly shrill, and her face was filled with impatience. Why is young Master Han so angry? Xiao Yumei walked over with a smile. Han Qi's eyes lit up, then licked her lips and scanned her body greedily. Boss Xiao's figure is getting better and better, and your face is also getting better and better. Young Master Han is too kind. I wonder what young Master Han came here for. Xiao Yumei said plainly. There are only 2 reasons why I'm here. Don't you know that, President Xiao? Han Chi said with a faint smile. Young Master Han, I, Xiao Yumei, naturally welcome you to invest in our pharmaceutical company. But you want to buy the shares for 1 yuan per share? That's a bit illogical, right? Xiao Yumei smiled faintly. Logic is for people like us. What's more, if Director Xiao follows me in the future, then wouldn't this company be mine? You'll have to ask my man about that. With that, Xiao Yumei hugged Yi Zichen's arm with a sweet expression. Han Chi had noticed Yi Zichen from the very beginning. At the time, she had thought that he was a business partner or a bodyguard. Oh yeah, he's the real boss of this pharmaceutical company. The reason Xiao Yumei said that was because Yi Zichen had told her before. She didn't know how to deal with this sort of scoundrel, but he did. This grandson is Han Chi. Yi Zichen stood on the side and laughed. Before he saw Han Chi, he had thought that this grandson was a very shrewd person. He's just a F** king delinquent, and a delinquent with a low IQ. You're scolding me? Han Chi frowned. Yi Zichen nodded. You're not too dumb. At least you know how to get scolded. You. Han Chi raised her finger, her face full of gloom and anger. Yi Zichen merely whistled and shrugged. Don't point at me. Don't point at me. I don't have a good temper. Didn't you hear what Yumei said? This company is mine. If you want to invest, then talk nicely with me. Grandson, you overestimate yourself, right? Han Chi mocked. I'll give you 2 choices. Say it. 1, I'll make your company close down and make you live in fear for the rest of your life. 2, obediently hand the company over to me. Then have this woman beside you follow me. I'll get sick of her. Han Chi reached out 2 fingers with a sinister smile. Yi Zichen's smiling face gradually turned dark. I told you before, I have a bad temper. With that, Yi Zichen reached out his hand towards Han Chi's finger. Crack. F***CK. Han Chi's entire face turned bright red, while his eyes opened wide like a bull's. He subconsciously reached out his other finger towards Yi Zichen. Crack. I think you really don't have a good memory, right? I told you before, I have a bad temper. You're F** king seeking death. Han Chi curled up his body and screamed menacingly as his arm spasmed. Yi Zichen lifted his leg and stepped on his back, forcing him to the ground, then bent over with a smile with his hands in his pockets. Then he bent down with his hands in his pockets and smiled. I don't know whether I'm seeking death or not. I only know that if you dare to bullshit one more time, then you won't be able to live for long. Bang! Yi Zichen kicked Han Chi to the company's revolving door. F***CK off. If you dare to come here and act cocky again, then I can't guarantee that you'll be able to walk out alive next time. Grandson, you're great. Just you F***king wait. If Lousy doesn't kill you, then Lousy's surname isn't Han. Han Chi's eyebrows were filled with savagery as he cursed angrily with trembling arms. Chapter 249. Chapter 249. Borrowing money. Boss Yi, you'll get into trouble if you do that. Li Minghu raised his eyebrows as he looked at the fleeing Han Chi. What do you think? Boss Hu, do you really think that Han Chi can do anything to me? Yi Zichen truly didn't care about this sort of brainless young master who only knew how to act like a tyrant because of his family background. There's naturally no need to care if it's just Han Chi, Li Minghu frowned. What I'm worried about is Han Chi's older brother, Han Yu. Han Yu? Yes. Li Minghu nodded. Han Yu is the Han family's first young master, one of the top young masters in Bingxing. He's very capable and resolute. He isn't someone that trash Han Chi can compare to. Do you think he'll do something to my company? Yi Zichen smiled. His relationship with Han Chi doesn't seem to be particularly good. But no matter what, Han Chi is a member of the Han family. He might stand up for his little brother in order to show his seniors. I know that Bossy knows young Master Su, but the military doesn't participate in politics. Li Minghu looked at Yi Zichen meaningfully. Hearing that, Yi Zichen smiled. We'll deal with it when it comes. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. Why are you panicking? Yi Zichen told the Ho brothers to protect Xiao Yumei, then left the medical company and called Su Yun. Yi Zi, did something important happen for you to find me in such a hurry? Yi Zichen and Su Yun sat by the window in a cold drink shop near Polytechnic University, while both of them held a cup of watermelon juice in their hands. What? Can I find you, my brother-in-law, if there's nothing? Yi Zichen smiled playfully. I do have something to tell you. I knew it. Say it. What do you need my help with? Su Yiyun smiled. There's a problem with the medical company. Yi Zichen frowned. There's another problem. Su Yiyun was shocked. He had just gotten the approval for the medical company a few days ago, and there was another problem in just a few days. It seems like the company I invested in is truly full of troubles. If this continues, then I might have to withdraw my shares. Tell me, what's wrong with the medical company now? Su Yiyun smiled helplessly. Han Chi wants to buy shares for 1 yuan. The Han clan's good-for-nothing grandson? Su Yiyun raised his eyebrows and curled his lips. 1 yuan for a share? He sure has a big appetite. You don't have to bother with this bastard. I'll beat him up when I have time later. I already beat him up. Yi Zichen shrugged. I broke 3 of his fingers. Su Yiyun was stunned. After a while, he raised his eyebrows. Yi Zichen, yo, you sure have guts. If I said I would beat him up, I would at most give him 2 kicks, but you actually dare to break his fingers. Li? 2. Yi Zichen licked his lips. Su Yiyun shook her head, then nodded. I Su Xiao Yili Ti Don I. Li 1 Lili doesn't Chi Tian is his. Tian not the Chi. Tian. Chi is Chi, I Chi is Chi. But there's nothing to worry about. With me here, he won't dare to be too cocky. Hanyu, I'm a bit curious about him. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled. This brat is on the same level as me. He can use a portion of the family's power, and his background is rather strong. What's more, this brat is especially shrewd and rather shady. He smiles with you on the surface, but he uses dirty tricks behind your back, making it hard for you to defend against them. Su Yiyun snorted. Su Yiyun snorted. Clearly, he didn't like people like Hanyu. A few years ago, I even suffered setback because of him. Then you're not going to get old man Su to deal with him. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. From what he knew of old man Su, he was definitely someone who would protect his children. Are you kidding me? There's an unwritten rule in our circle. You can't get their parents. If you can beat them, then do it. If you can't, then just admit defeat. Getting their parents is too embarrassing. I don't understand your world. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Su Yiyun laughed. Stop pretending. My dad told me that your identity is very mysterious. By the way, how are you and my sister doing lately? She and I. Before Yi Zichen could finish, his expression froze when he saw the beautiful figure behind Su Yiyun. He let out a long sigh with a bitter smile and raised his eyebrows. Why are you here again? I'll follow you and protect you. Lu smiled, then tiptoed over to Yi Zichen's side and sat down. At the same time, she winked at Su Yiyun. Hello, it's my first time seeing you. Are you Yi Zichen's friend? Creak. Su Yiyun squeezed the cold drink cup in his hand until it deformed. He looked at Yi Zichen with a questioning gaze. Brother, if you go on like this, it will be very difficult for me as your elder brother. What? Are you 2 brothers? Lulu blinked her large, bright eyes and extended her hand to Su Yiyun with a smile. Hello, I'm Yi Zichen's classmate and lover from his previous life, Lulu. He. Su Yiyun laughed coldly, then twitched his mouth towards Yi Zichen with a playful smile. Yi Zi, you sure have fun. The woman from your previous life has already appeared. Are you going to develop the woman from the previous life, the life before that, the life before that? Do you really think my sister is easy to bully? This, Yi Zichen didn't want to either. Just as he was thinking about how to explain, buzz. The phone in Yi Zichen's pocket rang. He took out his phone and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he saw the caller ID. Mom, you're looking for me? The moment Yi Zichen received Yi Rong's call, he immediately rushed back to his mansion. An SUV was parked outside the villa's courtyard. Judging from the license plate, it should be the general killer, Mu Jinglei's car. He pushed open the door and entered. In the living room of the villa, Mu Jinglei was crying her eyes out. Yi Rong sat beside her with a worried expression and patted her shoulder. Mom, Sister Lei. Little White ran over with its tongue out. Mother Yi also raised her head at this time, and when she saw Lu beside her, Zhang Xian's face froze. Yi Zichen also sighed in his heart when he noticed Mother Ye's expression. On the way here, he had already told her not to follow him, but this girl just wouldn't listen. Now, there's one more daughter-in-law candidate in Mother Ye's memories. Yi Zichen quickly changed the topic in order to avoid unnecessary awkwardness. Mom, it was rather rushed on the phone just now. You said something about needing 3 million. Zichen. Mu Jinglei's eyes were red from crying. She bit her lips and rubbed her hands together anxiously. She was actually struggling in her heart. 3 million was not a small amount for anyone, but she really had no other choice. Chapter 250. Chapter 250. Exposing Li Un's true face as if she was afraid that Yi Zichen wouldn't agree, Mu Jinglei added after saying that. I will try my best to return the money to you. I don't need you to return it. I'll just give you the money you use. Yi Zichen nodded without thinking. Mu Jinglei was stunned. Then her eyes, which were swollen from crying, lit up. Really? Of course it's real. This is a check for 3 million. But I want to know why Jinglei Jia wants so much money. 3 million isn't a small amount. Yi Zichen frowned. With his understanding of Mu Jinglei, this money definitely wasn't for her. I am going to redeem my little brother. Mu Jinglei received the check, then bit her lips and said softly, What happened to Lil Bro? Yi Zichen was shocked. Although Mu Chuang was a bit useless, it wasn't to the point where he needed 3 million. Even if he was injured or crippled, there was no need to spend so much money, right? Did he touch something he shouldn't have? He gambled. He lost nearly 3 million. How much did he gamble to lose that much? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. He sighed softly when he saw Mu Jinglei's face, which was about to cry again. Never mind. Hurry up and redeem him. Mu Jinglei nodded, then hurried outside with the check in gratitude. Mother Yi, who sat on the sofa, gave Yi Zichen a glance, then said, Go with your Jinglei Jia. Go with your big sister Jinglei. That place isn't filled with good people, that's true. With that, Yi Zichen slapped his thigh and ran outside. Jinglei Jia, wait for me. Yi Zichen hurriedly stopped the car when he saw that Lu was about to drive away. Then, he opened the car door and got in with Lu while she was hesitating. You guys, we'll go with you. Yi Zichen smiled. Yi Zichen chuckled. He knew very well just how strong Lu was. Even the Ho brothers couldn't match up to her. If she encountered any evil forces, then this girl would definitely turn into an angel of justice. No, aren't you guys messing around? Mu Jinglei frowned. That place wasn't a good place. It was one thing for her to take the risk for her little brother, but how could she bring these 2 students there? Sister Jinglei, hurry up and drive. What if little brother gets killed before the money arrives? But you can't go there with me. I know martial arts. I can fight 10 at once. Lu knew how to defend herself, so she could take on 20 people by herself. Normal people can't enter our bodies, so you can rest assured. If something really goes wrong, we'll find a chance to run to the police. All right. Mu Jinglei was also in a hurry to save her little brother. What's more, when she saw Yi Zichen and Lu's serious expressions, she did not try to stop them. Instead, she stepped on the gas and disappeared from the mansion. Yi Zichen remained silent the entire way. As he watched the SUV slowly drive out of the city, he suddenly frowned. He noticed a problem. Sister Jinglei, did Xiao Chuang call you? Yes. Mu Jinglei's brows were tightly knitted together as she replied with an anxious expression. Something was wrong. He knew that brat Mu Chuang too well. He couldn't remember anyone's phone at all. Annie didn't buy him a phone in order to prevent him from looking at those useless things on the internet. How did he call Mu Jinglei? Also, he's only a 17 or 18-year-old kid. It's possible for him to find a place to gamble, but he's no idiot. Is he really going to continue gambling? Although this brat isn't a good person, he isn't hopeless. He definitely wouldn't get involved in such a huge gamble. What did Mu Chuang say to you on the phone? He was crying on the other side of the phone. He said that he lost 3 million in gambling and told me to borrow money from a friend. Mu Jinglei replied with a frown. Yi Zichen licked his lips and raised his eyebrows. You want to find Lian? He didn't lend it to you? Zizi, Mu Jinglei, who was driving, stepped on the brakes. She looked at Yi Zichen with a stunned gaze and raised her eyebrows. How did you know that I want to borrow money from Leon? You know him? As expected, Yi Zichen raised the corner of his mouth. What's the condition that Leon gave you? He said he could borrow money, but he wanted me to sleep with him for a night. He promised that little Chuang would come back safe and sound the next day. Hee. Yi Zichen chuckled. Zichen, are you trying to say that Li Un is the mastermind? Mu Jinglei's eyes twitched slightly. Then she shook her head violently. No, I've known her for so long. She's not that kind of person. Not that kind of person. Yi Zichen smiled playfully. His company isn't small. It's not like he can't take out 3 million. But what is the condition he gave you? He wants you to sleep with him. If he really loved you, would he say something like this? Would he negotiate with you at this time? Lien, what a familiar name. Lulu, who was sitting at the back, also pouted and said, Hey, is the scum that you beat up yesterday Lien? That's him. Yi Zichen nodded. Mu Jinglei also raised her eyebrows. What's wrong with you? Mu Jinglei also raised her eyebrows. You guys are the ones that beat him up. Jinglei Jia, don't get tricked by that grandson. He's a true scum. Yi Zichen snorted coldly. Yi Zichen snorted coldly. Lulu and I were at the mall yesterday. We saw him kick a girl with our own eyes and said something like he got tired of playing with her. I heard your name yesterday, so I went to threaten him and told him to leave you. Lil Chuang might just be a way for him to get you. It's even more likely that Lil Chuang didn't lose that much money in gambling at all. Everything was just him manipulating the situation. Mu Jinglei was stunned. Yi Zichen could tell from her eyes that she still didn't quite believe Yi Zichen's words. She knew very well just what sort of person he was after being with Leon for a year. Could it be that he had been pretending for the past year? It seems like Jinglei Jia still doesn't believe me. Then I'll let you see that girl next time. Oh yeah, that girl said that she's called Bao Shi. Bao Shi. Mu Jinglei knew of this person's existence. Back when she was dating Lian, she already felt that this girl had something going on with him. I believe you. Mu Jinglei bit her lips, while her eyes flickered with sadness. I didn't think that he would actually be this sort of person. Then what should I do? Zichen, what do you think I should do? Of course go and redeem him. It's already like this. Are you really going to call Li in to question him? Yi Zichen chuckled. However, we have to change the way we redeem him. Chapter 251. Change a plan. Would you like to use the 1000 Li tracking sigil? Note, the 1000 Li tracking sigil is a one-time use item. It will only be able to locate a target for 3 hours. Yes, please confirm the search target. It is limited to people or things that you have seen. Lian, a scene surfaced in Yi Zichen's mind the moment he confirmed it. In the scene, Li In smiled coldly as he held a cigar in his hand, while a phone was placed on the tea table in front of him. From the looks of it, he seemed to be waiting for someone to call him. Most importantly, Mu Chuang was there as well, and he seemed to be having a very good time. Wow. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile. This is a bit like a trap. He was unable to hear the conversation in the scene, nor was he able to confirm the exact location of the person inside. However, from the scene, what is it? Mu Jinglei raised her eyebrows. You said to change the method of redemption. What is it? The plan has changed again. Yi Zichen licked his lips and pondered about whether he should tell Mu Jinglei what he saw. However, when he thought about it, it was too hard for her to understand if he just said it like that. Why did it change again? At that moment, Mu Jinglei's phone suddenly rang. The moment she saw the caller ID, her face turned deathly pale. It's a call from the casino. Answer it. Put on speaker. On the other hand, Yi Zichen was much calmer. Not long later, Mu Jinglei put the phone on speaker as he said, Miss Mu, I wonder how your money preparation is going. Yi Zichen pulled her forcefully, then said, We gathered 3 million and only have 1 million on hand. Are you the owner of the casino? We want to try our luck at your place and see if we can win 3 million to redeem Mu Chuang. Who are you? I'm Mu Jinglei's friend. She got her money from me. Miss Mu has the connections to borrow 3 million, but you guys said that you only have 1 million. Are you messing with me? The man on the other side of the phone snorted coldly. No. We really do want to redeem Mu Chuang, but we are a bit tight. Can you give us a chance? Wait a moment. The man on the other side of the phone smiled coldly, then handed the phone to his subordinate before walking to the room at the back of the casino. Manager Lee, the business you are recommending is a little different. The other side called and said that they have $1 million. They want to come here and gamble a few rounds. If they win enough, they'll redeem them. Really? Lien smiled arrogantly and said, then let them play. Isn't earning $1 million more a good thing? With that, the man left the room, and Leon's gaze turned to Mu Chuang. Your sister has quite a lot of men around her. Li Chuang laughed foolishly. Leon narrowed his eyes and looked at him. Are you sincere about cooperating with me? Of course, I really mean it. Then pray that your sister loses. After a long while, a rustling sound came from the other side of the phone, and the man spoke again. Sure, you guys can come. You know the address. Pa Mu Jinglei's eyes rippled as she hung up the phone. Zichen, why do you say that? I have my own plan. Yi Zichen smiled mysteriously, then leaned back on the chair with a smile. Simon, it's time to win money. Half an hour later, Mu Jinglei parked the car in front of a supermarket in the suburbs. Everyone got out of the car and entered the supermarket. The moment they entered, Mu Jinglei called out to the cashier. Leopard. The cashier raised his eyebrows. At the same time, Yi Zichen also patted his suitcase and opened it, revealing a pile of 100 yuan bills. Please. Not long later, everyone arrived at the basement of the supermarket under the guidance of the cashier. Yi Zichen was stunned the moment they arrived. Nobody would have thought that the basement would be like this, even though it was a proper supermarket. It was a foul atmosphere, and angry curses could be heard from time to time. Sir, young lady, give us 1 million yuan worth of chips. Yi Zichen handed over the 2 suitcases in his hands. The man dressed as a waiter raised his eyebrows, then left with the suitcases. Not long later, he returned with a tray. I hope you have fun. Yi Zichen, I want to play. Lulu could no longer suppress her curiosity, so she reached out her hand to take the chips. Yi Zichen handed her 500,000 yuan worth of chips. After letting her do as she pleased, he took Mu Jinglei to a place for dice. Place your bets. Plenty of people threw the chips in their hands onto the corresponding spots. At the same time, Yi Zichen's eyes also emitted a faint golden light. Fiery eyes of truth, activate. Yi Zichen was indeed able to see the number of dice inside. Yi Zichen smiled, then took out 100,000 yuan worth of chips and threw it onto the small spot. 555 big. Ouch. What the F*** CK is going on? I clearly saw the small spot with the fiery eyes of truth. As everyone complained, the dealer took back the chips. Yi Zichen played again in disbelief. He lost again. Zichen. It was Mu Jinglei's first time at a place like this. Her palms were covered in sweat when she saw Yi Zichen lose like that. Not long later, Lulu walked back with a pout unhappily. From the looks of it, she lost everything. I'm not happy. There's someone controlling the games here. Lulu muttered softly. Hearing that, Yi Zichen pulled her back. You said someone is controlling it. Yeah, it's been so many times already. I really want to hit them. For example, these dice. Can you control them to change into the numbers we want? Yi Zichen pointed at the dice. Lulu pouted. It shouldn't be a problem, right? Hearing that, Yi Zichen was overjoyed. He hugged Lulu tightly and said softly, let's work together later. After muttering beside Lulu's ear for a while, Yi Zichen called the attendant over and exchanged another 1 million yuan worth of chips. At the same time, in a room at the back of the casino, Director Lee, they exchanged another 1 million. You don't need to tell me that. Earning money is a good thing. Just let them keep losing and not win. Leon said with an indifferent smile. Since they're giving us money, then we have to accept it. Fiery eyes of truth, activate. Yi Zichen stared closely at the dice inside. At the same time, Lulu also whispered into his ear. What number do you want? 3 threes. All right. With that, Lulu stopped speaking. Meanwhile, Yi Zichen used his fiery eyes of truth to observe the changes in the numbers. Place your bets. Yi Zichen directly placed 500,000 on the leopard. When he placed the leopard, plenty of people in the surroundings shook their heads. He's going crazy from losing. How could the leopard be opened so easily? Even the person who shook the dice couldn't help but smile. Yi Zichen glanced at the chips on the table and smiled, then tapped the table with his finger. The numbers changed. Yi Zichen, who had been staring at the changes in the numbers, also sent a signal to Lulu. Open. 333. Chapter 252. Two monsters. The dealer was stunned the moment it was opened. This is impossible. He looked at the 3 threes below in shock, then looked up at Yi Zichen in shock. Oh wow. The god of fortune favors me. The god of fortune favors me. Yi Zichen quickly laughed maniacally, then hooked his finger towards the dealer. Bro, give me the money. The dealer frowned, then handed the chips that he should have won to Yi Zichen's hands, while a solemn expression covered his face. As the surrounding people praised his luck, Yi Zichen also smiled, then placed all of the chips in his hands and the chips that he had won onto the leopard. Again, many people were dumbfounded, and the dealer was also stunned. Open. 444. Leopard. Yi Zichen placed all of his chips onto the leopard once again. Open. 455. Leopard. It was as if the dealer at the table was possessed, as he continuously opened the leopard. The chips in Yi Zichen's hands also increased, until they were piled up into a small mountain. You're cheating. The dealer was furious. Yi Zichen put on a confused expression and raised his eyebrows at the dealer. Bro, you can't just say stuff like that. You're the one who's been manipulating the dice. What right do you have to say that I'm cheating? What? Your casino wants to scam my money? Slap. Yi Zichen stepped onto the table, then glared and cursed. I'm telling you, Lousy isn't someone that can be easily bullied. Give me the money. Sir. Not long later, the manager of the casino hurried over with the others. Your dealer doesn't want to give me the money. What? I came here to spend, and you want to scam me? The manager of the casino frowned. Then, after understanding the situation from the dealer, he laughed softly. I'll play a few rounds with you. Sure, give me the chips first. The manager pushed the chips in front of Yi Zichen with a smile, while he personally controlled the dice. Yi Zichen pushed the chips in front of Yi Zichen with a smile, while the manager personally controlled the dice. Leopard. 1 by 1. 1 by 1. Leopard. Yi Zichen bet on the leopard every single time, while the other side also opened the leopard every single time. The manager chucked the dice in his hand to the side, then smiled and took off his white gloves. Sir, if you return the chips that you just won here, then we can let it go. Trying to scare me? Yi Zichen smiled, then picked up a 10,000 yuan chip from the table and tossed it. The round chip was embedded in the casino manager's collarbone, and blood dripped down. An expert. The manager clenched his teeth and forcefully pulled out the chip from his collarbone. Sir, your purpose for coming here is not pure. To tell you the truth, I'm here to cause trouble. Bang. He slammed the table. The chips on the table instantly flew into the air. At the same time, Yi Zichen's hands seemed to transform into 1,000 hands as he continuously threw the chips in all directions. Screams rang out incessantly. When the other chips on the table fell to the ground, they looked back at the casino. The group of thugs around the manager had more or less inserted a chip into their bodies. Don't say that I don't treat you well. Let's spend the money together. Take it and buy a pack of cigarettes. When the fighters fell to the ground, Yi Zichen sat down on the gambling table and smiled towards the room at the back of the casino. Student Lian, are you still not coming out? You're really just here to watch a show, aren't you? Clap, clap, clap. Lian clapped his hands and walked out of the room, while several tens of thugs followed behind him. A sinister smile surfaced in his eyes as he looked at the people wailing on the ground. Pretty amazing. Lian, Mu Jinglei exclaimed. She didn't think that everything was as Yi Zichen said. He was the one behind all of this. Jinglei, I'm really disappointed that you refused. Lian shook his head with a sigh. Jinglei isn't for you to call. Yi Zichen revealed a dark expression. Then he pointed at the chips on the table. There's 300 million here. Change it for me. I'm going to use 3 million to buy Mu Chuang back. Brat, you seem to have forgotten something. Lian frowned. At that moment, Mu Chuang walked out of the room with a knife on his neck. He's in my hands, so I have the initiative. Lil Chuang. Mu Jinglei exclaimed. Mu Chuang also cried out, sis. What a deep bond between siblings. Do you see that? I have the initiative. Lian's face was filled with a smug smile. He raised his eyebrows and glanced at Mao Jinglei greedily. Say, if you slept with me, then how would there be so much trouble? Lian, Mu Jinglei screamed. Don't call my name. I'll suspect that you've fallen in love with me. A sinister look surfaced on Leon's handsome face. Or rather, you've already fallen in love with me. Then don't hesitate. Come here and sacrifice yourself for your little brother. Saying that, Leon took off his pants and said, It'll be a feast for the eyes of a lot of people here. Are you treating me like I don't exist? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and held a chip in his hand. I know you're very amazing, but are you sure you can be faster than his subordinate's knife? As Yi Zichen spoke, the knife on Mu Chuang's neck got closer, causing blood to flow down the blade. Sis! Mu Chuang screamed. Mu Jinglei also bit her lips as if she had made up her mind. Let go of my little brother, then I'll go with you. Jinglei Jia! Yi Zichen exclaimed. I can save Lil Chuang. Zichen, never mind. I can't let Lil Chuang be in any danger. Mu Jinglei smiled warmly. Hearing that, Li In laughed out loud, then stepped on the chair with one leg. I want you to be right here, all right? Mu Jinglei nodded without any hesitation, while Lian's face was filled with a maniacal smile. Lian walked closer step by step. When he arrived in front of Mu Chuang, he smirked. Kneel. Mu Jinglei did not resist at all. From her expression, it was as if she had already given up on everything. However, the moment she was about to kneel down, she leaped towards the knife-wielding person without any regard for anything else. Lil Chuang, run. Mu Jinglei hugged the knife-wielding person's waist tightly. The knife-wielding person frowned, then stabbed the blade towards Mu Jinglei's back without any hesitation. How many times have I said it? Do you really treat me like I don't exist? Yi Zichen gripped the blade tightly with his left hand and smiled sinisterly. At the same time, he swung his right hand towards the knife-wielding person. You're the one treating us like we don't exist, right? A pitch-black gun was pressed against the back of Yi Zichen's head. Yi Zichen's body froze, then he smirked. His fist did not stop at all as he punched the knife-wielding person's face. You're so cocky, Lian, who held the gun, said sinisterly. Hey, you can't bully Yi Zichen. Otherwise, I'll get angry. At that moment, Lulu ran over with a smile with her hands behind her back. On the ground were the several tens of fighters who were wailing. Crack! Lulu squeezed the gun with her hand and twisted it upwards. The gun instantly changed shape. At the same time, Yi Zichen also twitched his mouth and slowly turned his head. His left hand was still holding the dagger tightly, but not a single drop of blood dripped down. Monster! Lian screamed. Yi Zichen grabbed the dagger with his right hand and stabbed it towards Lian's collarbone. Crack! A pebble hit the blade, causing it to fall. When Yi Zichen turned around, he heard. Chapter 253. The storm ends. A man with a scar over his eye appeared from the room. Yi Zichen held onto Lian's collar for a long time and stared at the man's back. There seems to be a wall behind it. How'd he get out? What the hell are you? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The man walked over with a coy smile. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wei Chun. I don't know him. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then turned around and shouted towards Lulu. Where's my saber? Let me chop this idiot. Lulu ran over and picked up the blade, then handed it to Yi Zichen. The moment the blade entered his hand, Yi Zichen saw a hole about 1 centimeter in diameter on the blade. Thinking of the pebble, he couldn't help but glance back at Wei Chun. Who are you working for? I'm with Big Sis Xia Kiki. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was stunned, while Lulu and Mu Jinglei, who were on the side, were also shocked. Xia Kiki? Xia Kiki from Polytechnic University? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Yes, it's that big sister. Yi Zichen chucked Lian onto the ground sulkily, then stepped on him. How did you get along with Xia Kiki? It's a long story. Then make it short. Yi Zichen was really annoyed by this kind of long story. Since he knew that it was a long story, then he should just summarize the main idea. Didn't the teacher teach him that in elementary school? In short, that is F*CK. Who the F*CK is causing trouble in my casino? Give me 10 minutes to prepare my tiger fist. A shout came from the entrance of the casino. It was a familiar accent and sentence. Why is this idiot here? Hey, that's not right. Dad, why are you here? The young man with a buzz cut ran over. The moment he saw Yi Zichen, F***, good boy, I'm still looking for you. This time, give me 10 minutes to prepare, I won't. Bang! Before the young man could finish his words, Wei Chun, who was standing behind him, kicked him to his knees. Kneel to the side. Dad, that day when I said I was beaten, it was this kid who beat me up. He doesn't care about the rules of the pugilistic world. I haven't even built up my strength, and he's already beating me up. Didn't you say that you would get revenge for me when you have time? It's him. The buzzcut guy rubbed his butt with a confused look. Wei Chun raised his hand and smacked him on the head. Do you want to get beaten up? Got it. Yi Zichen looked at the father and son in confusion, while the buzzcut man lowered his head and squatted in the corner. Why don't you two talk? We're here to save someone. Then take care, Mr. Yi. Wei Chun nodded with a smile. Yi Zichen pointed at the injured people on the ground. Do you want me to compensate you? You're Xia Keek's lackey. I have to take care of you. No need, no need. Wei Chun shook his head. Yi Zichen stepped on Lian, who was on the ground. Oh yeah, this brat has a grudge with me. I'll spare his life because of you, but you can't let him go so easily. Also, I just won more than 300 million in your casino. I'll leave my bank account number with you. Do you have a pen? Lulu and Mu Jinglei shook their heads. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and looked at the dagger in his hand. Then at Li En, who was on the ground, Yi Zichen made a small cut on Li En's hand with the dagger, then dragged Li En's finger to leave a row of numbers on the gambling table. This is your bank account number. Remember to transfer it to me. I'm lacking money. After Yi Zichen left the casino, Wei Chin's smile turned dark as he squatted on the ground and pulled Li En up. Director Li, I hope you could transfer the money to our casino's account tomorrow. 300 million, not a single cent less. Do you understand? Wei Chin patted Li En's face, then kicked him away. Then he walked in front of the buzz-cut guy and kicked him. Bang! The buzz-cut guy knelt on the ground and muttered with his head lowered. Why did you hit me again? Think about it yourself. If you don't understand, then don't eat tomorrow. Yi Zichen drove the SUV back. Along the way, Mu Chuang lowered his head and did not say anything, while Mu Jinglei did the same. They did save Li En, but the atmosphere was extremely tense. Sis, I was wrong. As they approached the city, Mu Chuang, who had been silent all this while, suddenly raised his head. Mu Jinglei stepped on the brakes. You still know that you're wrong. Sister, I'm sorry. Mu Chuang lowered his head and apologized softly. Yi Zichen patted his shoulders, then spoke up in the car. Sister Jinglei, I'll go down to talk with little Chuang. Mu Jinglei nodded, while Yi Zichen dragged Mu Chuang out of the car by his collar. The moment he got out of the car, Yi Zichen punched him. Why did you hit me? Mu Chuang shouted with his eyes wide open. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes, then dragged Mu Chuang by his collar 10-odd meters away. I'll save you some face and not talk in front of the car. Tell me, why did you join forces with Li En to harm your sister? I don't know what you're talking about. Mao Chuang frowned, his eyes evasive. You don't know? Bang. He threw another punch. I'm not Sister Jinglei. No matter what happens, I can tolerate you and tolerate you. Back in the village, you should have known that I was a scoundrel. Brother, could it be that you've forgotten everything? Mu Chuang swallowed a mouthful of saliva. How could he forget? Zichenji, I beg you, don't tell my sister. Mu Chuang clenched his teeth and lowered his head. I need money. And then? He definitely needed money to get his sister to bail him out with 3 million, and to work with a scum like Li En. I did lose money at Li En's place, but it was only several tens of thousands. Originally, I wanted to win some money from him. In the past, I always won. Continue. Winning? That's because he wants you to win. Who doesn't know that you lose 9 out of 10 bets? Winning all the time can only mean that there's a problem. After I lost, I wanted to recoup my losses, so I went to borrow money from Leon. Leon asked me to lie to my sister, and I agreed. Mu Chuang stuttered as he explained the situation. Yi Zichen clenched his fist and wanted to punch him, but when he saw Mu Chuang's evasive look, he couldn't help but frown. You still haven't said why you need money. I like a girl. Mu Chuang's slightly tanned face flushed red. You need several million to like a girl? Yi Zichen asked plainly. She's different from other girls. Mu Chuang clenched his teeth. Mu Chuang gritted his teeth and said, she works in a club. I've only seen her from afar before. And she's not the kind of girl bro thinks she is. She's just purely chatting with people. Mu Chuang quickly explained. Mu Chuang hurriedly explained. She charges a lot for chatting with others. I need money to talk to her. So low. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. But this isn't a reason for you to trick your sister. Don't you know that you're just pushing her into a pit of fire? I was wrong. Mu Chuang lowered his head deeply. Yi Zichen sighed when he saw Mu Chuang's self-blaming expression. I'm sorry. Chapter 254. A class, you're back. When they got on the car, Mu Jinglei noticed the bruises on Mu Chuang's face and the blood at the corner of his mouth. Although she didn't ask, the way she looked at her showed that she cared. This brat is ignorant and incompetent, so I taught him a lesson. Yi Zichen hooked his arm around his shoulder and laughed. He promised me that he won't gamble anymore. That would be for the best. Mu Jinglei smiled faintly. Her heart, which had already been filled with disappointment, gradually improved. But more than that, he couldn't hide his self-deprecation. Her boyfriend of a year turned out to be such a person. Thinking back to the time when they almost talked about marriage, it was really ridiculous. At night, the Mao siblings stayed at Yi Zichen's mansion to rest. Tacitly, they didn't mention the incident at the casino to Mother Yi. They simply said that they would use money to redeem Mu Chuang. Mu Chuang was naturally taught a lesson, but Yi Zichen had already returned to his room to rest after a tiring day. The next day, as expected, Mu Jinglei chose to take her annual leave from school. After experiencing all this, she really should have a good rest. Yi Zichen returned home after the lesson ended. Mu Chuang had already prepared himself, because Yi Zichen had said in the morning that he would take him to that clubhouse today. Sister Jinglei, I'll bring Mu Chuang out for a walk. Yes. Mu Jinglei nodded indifferently. It was clear that she had yet to walk out of the shadow of disappointment. She signaled to Little White, who was circling the room, and Little White immediately wagged its tail to show that it understood. Then, it jumped to Mu Jinglei's side and began to shake its head. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. With the happy fruit around, Sister Jinglei's condition should improve a little faster. After leaving the mansion, Yi Zichen drove Mu Jinglei's car straight to the clubhouse. Today, he must teach Mu Chuang a good lesson. This is the club you were talking about? To be honest, the clubhouse in front of them wasn't particularly big. At least compared to Shanghai's business clubhouse, this clubhouse seemed a little small. Mu Chuang couldn't help but nod, but soon after, a worried expression appeared on his face. Zichen Ji, the cost of this clubhouse isn't just a normal amount. Come with your big brother Zichen. Big brother will give you a good lesson today. With that, Yi Zichen put his arm around Mu Chuang's shoulder and walked into the clubhouse. Sir, please show me your membership card. As soon as he entered, a tall girl in a cheongsam greeted him. Needless to say, this clubhouse didn't look as grand as Shanghai's clubhouse, but the interior decoration was quite charming. In particular, the tall beauties in this clubhouse were all wearing cheongsams, which was exceptionally pleasing to the eye. This is my first time here. Please help me get a membership card. Then, sir, this way, please. The girl's face became brighter and brighter. If they applied for a membership card, they would also get a commission. Our club is divided into silver, gold, platinum, and diamond cards. Each card has a different level and enjoys different benefits. Diamond card. He leisurely took out a card from his pocket and slapped it on the table. The girl was stunned for a moment before she kindly explained. 10 million for diamond card. Do it. The girl was startled for a moment. Then her smile widened. Mao Chuang couldn't help but feel a hint of envy when he saw the girl smile and Yi Zichen's calm demeanor. He had come here a few times with Lian before, but he had never seen the receptionist smile so brightly. Approximately 3 minutes later, the receptionist returned Yi Zichen's card and a diamond card respectfully. Sir, I hope you have a good time. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yi Zichen took out the checkbook, wrote a string of numbers on it, and stuffed it into the girl's collar. From what Mao Chuang remembered, This sort of behavior was not allowed. This is your reward. He had seen some bosses stuff tips into a girl's collar before, but what they got in return was a slap. In the end, the boss was even chased out by the clubhouse staff. However, what Mao Chuang didn't expect was that the smile on the receptionist girl's face became even brighter after she took out the check. She bit her lips, then picked up a pen from the front desk and wrote a string of numbers on a piece of paper before stuffing it into Yi Zichen's hands. Let's have a meal together when you have time. Sure. Yi Zichen put the piece of paper into his pocket with a smile, then patted Mao Chuang's stunned head. I came with my little brother. He's rather interested in a girl here. Then go and play with your little brother. I won't waste your time. Yi Zichen nodded towards her with a faint smile, then patted Mao Chuang's head and left. The eyes of the receptionist girl, who had been standing on the spot, were filled with stars. He's really too stylish. Zichenji, you're amazing. Mu Chuang spoke up with a look of admiration just after Yi Zichen walked out a few steps. I've never been like this with Lian before. All of the receptionists are so arrogant, and there's no need to mention giving you their phone numbers. Lian told me that there are rules here and that I can't do anything. He can't. He's not qualified. Yi Zichen smiled faintly. This is Big Brother's first lesson for you. In this society, your status represents the treatment you can enjoy. There is no can, only not enough. Mr. Yi, not long later, the clubhouse's manager walked in with a smile when Yi Zichen arrived at the room on the second floor. Diamond cards were only produced a few times in half a year, so they definitely had to treat this potential customer well. I heard that this is your first time coming to our clubhouse. Do you need me to help you arrange? Yi Zichen shook his finger towards the manager, then patted Mao Chuang, who was beside him. Say it, who is it? As the older brother, I also want to know which girl charmed my little brother to this extent. It's the one in purple. Mu Chuang scratched his head in embarrassment. Yi Zichen glanced at the purple shirt girl on a roster and nodded. Her, and the one in blue beside her. She, and the one in blue next to her. It's the two of them. All right, please wait a moment. The manager left the room. Not long later, someone knocked on the door of the room, and two beautiful girls walked in. Gulp. Mu Chuang's entire face turned red. It was clear that he was really interested in the girl. Mr. Yi. The two girls greeted Yi Zichen at the same time. Yi Zichen nodded towards them with a smile, then called them over. Yi Zichen left the girl that Mu Chuang liked by his side, then walked to the other side of the room with the other girl in blue. Mr. Yi, did you come to our place again? A girl's perfect smile could easily gain a good impression from others. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then drank the wine in his cup with a smile. Chapter 255. The First Confrontation. Huang Jia. The blue shirt girl smiled. Yi Zichen nodded, then glanced at the purple shirt girl. She, Jiang Xiaoya. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, then started to chat with the blue shirt girl in front of him. As they chatted, he found out that the two girls were both fourth-year students at the nearby Communication University. Broadcasting major. No wonder they were so approachable when they spoke, and their words and actions made it easy for people to fall in. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled, then stood up from the sofa. Huang Jia followed behind him and walked over to Mu Chuang and Yi Zichen's side. Mu Chuang's entire body was flushed with excitement as he chatted with the girl he liked. Mr. Yi. Jiang Xiaoya smiled. Yi Zichen nodded, then smiled towards Mu Chuang. Do you like it? Jiang Xiaoya smiled. Mu Chuang blushed and did not say anything. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and scanned the two girls beside him. If you like it, I can get her to accompany you in your room at night. If you feel like it's not enough, then she... Yi Zichen pointed at the blue shirt girl beside him. You can count her in as well. Zichenji. Yi Zichen merely smiled playfully in response to Mu Chuang's exclamation. Just say that you like it. If you like it, Mr. Yi, I think you got it wrong. We are just purely chatting with you. We don't provide any other special services. Jiang Xiaoya frowned. Yi Zichen continued to smile playfully in response. Do you think you have a choice? With that, Yi Zichen leaned back on the sofa and looked at the two girls in front of him with a judgmental gaze. Professional chatting, 30,000 an hour. I have to say, you guys really know how to chat. You guys are indeed worthy of this price for rich people. Your clubhouse also has related rules, so you guys don't provide any other services. However, if I want to take you guys away from the clubhouse, do you think the clubhouse's people will stand up for you?" The two girls remained silent. What Yizichin said was the truth. He used a diamond card worth 10 million, and the amount of spending there was also shocking. If someone with this sort of identity really wanted to take them away, they would be unable to resist at all. Dong dong. At that moment, the door to the room was pushed open, and the clubhouse manager walked in with a coy smile. "Mr. Yi, we have an esteemed guest who specifically asked for Jiang Xiaoya." Yi Zichin raised his eyebrows. He was teaching his little brother a lesson. Did the supervisor come to make him lose face? "Honored guest. First come, first served. I've already picked these two girls. Who else can snatch them from me? Mr. Yi, I'm really sorry. We'll give you a 20% discount on your expenses today." The supervisor nodded and bowed with an apologetic smile. Hearing that, Yi Zichin snickered. "Do you think I lack that bit of money? Even if I, the heavenly king, were here, this person wouldn't be of any use. Get out. How arrogant." A playful laughter sounded from outside the door, and not long after, a young man with a bright face walked in from outside the door. "Boss Han, please help me tell this gentleman that he wants to take me away." Jiang Xiaoya looked as if she had met her savior. The young man was startled when he heard this. The corners of his mouth curled upwards. "Sir, don't tell me you don't know the rules of this humble man's club? We don't provide external services here." With that, he clapped his hands. Not long later, a group of people in security uniforms appeared at the entrance of the room. "Sir, you might be a new member of our club, so you don't understand our rules too well. If you just let it go like this, then I can give you a 50% discount. If you insist on taking the girls of our club away, then I don't mind telling you our club's rules." "You're Hanyu." Yi Zichin, who was sitting on the sofa, raised his eyebrows, then took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it. "You are?" The young man was stunned. "As I thought." Yi Zichin felt that the young man's name was rather familiar when he entered the room, coupled with the way Jiang Xiaoya addressed him, as expected. "I wonder how your little brother's finger is?" Han Yu's expression stiffened the moment his words sounded. He immediately revealed a smile that contained a deeper meaning as he spoke. "Yi Zichin, it seems like Han Qi mentioned me in front of you." Yi Zichin smiled. "That brat truly isn't too bright, so I helped you teach him a lesson. That's not too much, right? Teaching him a lesson isn't too much. I wanted to teach my little brother a lesson since a long time ago. I can't even thank young Master Yi for helping me." Han Yu smiled brightly. Then, his expression darkened. "But young Master Yi's method of teaching is a bit too much, right? It's all right. At least he's still alive, isn't he?" Everyone in the room felt their hearts race when they heard that. None of them could imagine that the diamond member in front of them actually had such a grudge with their boss. What's more, from the meaning of those words, there's a grudge. Hee. Then I have to thank young Master Yi." Hanyu squinted his eyes and smiled. Hanyu narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, "Young Master Yi, you suddenly came to my club. Don't think too much into it. I just brought my little brother to this clubhouse to take a look. He kept on muttering about wanting to chat with this purple-shirted girl. If I knew that this is young Master Han's clubhouse, I wouldn't dare to come even if I had 10 guts." Yi Zichin smiled faintly, but no fear could be seen in his eyes. "Young Master Yi, what are you saying?" Hanyu chuckled, then patted the shoulders of the supervisor beside him. "Young Master Yi's expenses are all waived. If young Master Yi comes to our clubhouse in the future, then treat him as an VIP of the highest level." "Yes, boss." The supervisor kept nodding. Hanyu also raised his eyebrows and smiled. "I hope young Master Yi has a good time here. I won't disturb you any longer. Then let's go. Why are you still standing here? You're wasting my time." Yi Zichin snickered mercilessly. "Oh yeah, I want to take these two girls away, can I?" "Go ahead." Hanyu made an inviting gesture and left the room with the supervisor. Yi Zichin didn't expect Hanyu to be so shrewd. He's not easy to deal with, but I have to deal with the situation in front of me first. Jiang Xiaoya and Huang Ji's faces turned pale when their last hope was destroyed. At that moment, Yi Zichin also smiled playfully. "Don't worry. Do you see that? You have no way to resist." With that, He turned around and smiled at Mu Chuang. What do you think? As long as you nod, the two of them will be yours tonight. If you want, the two of them will be yours forever. That's fine. I just have one question. Li Chuang, who had been silent the entire time, suddenly looked up and looked at Jiang Xiaoye with a burning gaze. Everything you said to me just now was just purely to chat with him, right? Tell him the truth. You two might have a chance in the future, Yi Zichen said. Yi Zichen said on the side. Yes. Jiang Xiaoye bit her lips. The reason I chatted with you is purely because you guys paid. In other words, it's because of Zichen Ji, right? Yes. Jiang Xiaoye clenched her fists tightly and nodded. At this moment, Li Chuang also looked up at her with a burning gaze. Yes. Chapter 256. Half-beastmen, the two girls who were chatting with him, looked at Mu Chuang nervously. There was no other way. At this moment, their fate depended on his words. Zichen Ji, let's go back. Mu Chuang swept his gaze over the purple-shirt girl and smiled. Yi Zichen nodded in satisfaction at his reply. Are you sure? Uh-huh. Mu Chuang nodded, then stood up from the chair and walked to the purple-shirt girl's side. Then, he took off the headband on her head. Yi Zichen smiled as he looked at the long hair that cascaded down, then hooked the headband with his finger. Leave it for me as a souvenir. One day, I'll make you look up to me. Yi Zichen maintained a faint smile from start to finish. He naturally wouldn't be a scum to the extent of bullying others. If Mu Chuang chose to have the two girls accompany him, he would definitely get beaten up. Yi Zichen looked at the heated light in Mu Chuang's eyes. It seemed like the lesson this time was rather successful. Yi Zichen left the clubhouse with Mu Chuang. Before they left, the supervisor and manager of the clubhouse stood in front of the door to send them off with a group of people. Zichen Ji, I want to work for you. Mu Chuang looked up with determination the moment he walked out of the door. Of course you can work for me, but don't think that you can directly become a higher-up. If you want to work for me, then you have to start from the bottom. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Mu Chuang replied with the same determined gaze. No problem. Yi Zichen smiled. Yi Zichen was rather happy that he was able to lead his little brother onto the right path. Yi Zichen patted Mu Chuang's shoulders. At that moment, he felt a sense of danger from all directions. Yi Zichen reached out his hand to call the next taxi. He pushed Mu Chuang into the car and tossed 300 kuai to the driver. I'll arrange work for you tomorrow. Take a taxi back first and tell Jinglei Jie and my mom that I have something to do. Yi Zichen closed the car door and watched the taxi leave. Then, he let out a long sigh, then took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it for himself. Come out. Sha sha sha. A man in black walked out from the shadows. Yi Zichen felt extremely uncomfortable when he was stared at by those snake-like eyes. What's more, he could feel a scalp-numbing bloody aura from his body. Yi Zichen spat out a mouthful of smoke, then glanced at the clubhouse behind him, then back at the man in front of him. Hanyu asked you to come, right? But he's too anxious. I haven't left the clubhouse yet. Isn't he afraid that the responsibility will fall on him? Da-da-da. The man slowly walked towards Yi Zichen without so much as a glance. The closer he got, the more obvious the stench of blood became. It's true. Yi Zichen threw the cigarette in his hand onto the ground and stamped it out, then squinted his eyes and stomped his foot. The Ho brothers did not come out to stand guard. It was very likely that they were not by his side. Then he had no choice but to rely on himself. Since he didn't know how strong the other party was, he might as well make the first move. Bang. Yi Zichen punched his opponent's arm. He didn't expect his opponent to react so quickly. A cold light flashed across his face. His body tilted downwards, and he kicked the man. F***CK. Not easy to deal with. Tiger Fist. A huge illusory tiger head attacked from the side, causing Yi Zichen to be shocked by its aura. The man charging towards Yi Zichen paused, then tilted his body to the right. F***CK, I missed. An angry roar sounded out. Not long later, Yi Zichen saw the buzz-cut man, who had been challenging him to a duel, walk out from the side. The man in night clothes merely paused for a moment, then charged towards Yi Zichen once again. F***CK, what are you blanking out for? Run. The buzz-cut man grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder and ran backwards. The man in night clothes wanted to chase, but a stone suddenly fell from the sky. Then Wei Chun stretched lazily and stood in the middle. Young Master Yi, hurry up and leave. Leave this to me. You. Yi Zichen revealed a worried expression. He could feel that the man in night clothes was extraordinary when he fought with him just now. You what? My dad is definitely fine. Where's your car? Hurry up and leave. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth and drove away under Wei Chun and the buzz-cut man's persuasion. The man in night clothes wanted to chase after the SUV as it drove further and further away, but Wei Chun stopped him. I'm here. You still want to chase? With that, Wei Chun took out a cigarette from the pack and lit it up. Half-beastman, I'll give you the time of 1 cigarette. I hope you can satisfy me. Yi Zichen sat in the front seat and looked at the excited buzz-cut man with his head tilted. I still don't know what to call you. Wei Tung. Wei Tung licked the corner of his mouth and looked straight ahead. This name? Yi Zichen looked at him with a look of confusion. This name was truly random. Yi Zichen knew very well that Tung wasn't that painful, but he felt like there was a 90% chance that it was Wei Chun's stomach hurt when he gave him this name. Wei Chun, you guessed it. Sticking out tongue, Yi Zichen didn't retort about Wei Teng's name. Instead, he spoke up once again. Is it really fine for your dad to stay there? What problem could there be? I'm telling you, my dad is super amazing, Wei Tong said with a look of admiration. Thinking back to Wei Tong's tiger form fist, Yi Zichen felt that Wei Chun shouldn't be too weak. Then how did you two think of coming over to save me? How would I know? Wei Tong turned around and rolled his eyes at Yi Zichen. My dad wants to come here. Can I, his son, stop him? F***CK. Can you F***King drive properly? He actually dared to turn around while driving. Does this guy want to die? Oh yeah, I forgot. Wei Tong scratched his head with a smile. This time, both of his hands left the steering wheel. Yi Zichen, who sat in the front seat, opened his eyes wide. Then, he looked at Wei Tong's driving posture. Have you driven before? I drove a tractor with my dad in the village before. Yi Zichen felt like something was off, but he still held a sliver of hope in his heart. Then do you have a driver's license? Do I need a driver's license to drive this thing? Wei Tong was speechless. Hurry up, we're going downhill. Yi Zichen returned to the mansion safely. If Yi Zichen had a heart attack or something, then he might have to go straight to the emergency center. Yi Zichen, who was on the verge of collapsing, got out of the car and retched on the side of the road. Are you okay? You have a car, but you still get carsick? Wei Ting walked over with his eyebrows raised, then glanced at the mansion Yi Zichen lived in. Z's, the place you live in isn't bad. Oh yeah, find a time to race with me. The prerequisite is that you have to give me 10 minutes to prepare. Next time. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Wei Ting also chucked the car keys into Yi Zichen's hands, then patted the SUV reluctantly. This is really nice. It's much better than driving a tractor. Here's the car keys. If you need a driver in the future, then call me anytime. Wei Tung turned around and left leisurely, while Yi Zichen, who held the car keys, couldn't help but retort. Chapter 257. Rawstone Market. Wei Chun lowered his head and looked at the man with the snake tail at his feet. He curled his lips and shook his head. A wisp of smoke came out of his mouth. At this moment, the cigarette in his hand had only burned halfway. The Yellow Emperor really is plagued by misfortune. Even the half-beastmen have come out. It seems I'll have to find some help. Otherwise, I won't be able to defend it alone. With that, Wei Chun threw the cigarette to the side of the half-beast man and left. Not long after, 2 men appeared beside the orc. They glanced at the smoking cigarette and the dead orc on the ground. They took out their phones and dialed a number. Mission number 3 has failed. Retrieving. The next day, Yi Zichen brought Mao Chuang to the jewelry store. Young Master Yi. Baidahai's face was full of smiles. He was in charge of managing the jewelry store. He didn't need to care about other people's feelings. He was the boss of the jewelry business. Recently, his life had been very comfortable. You've been doing well recently. You've gotten fatter. Yi Zichen patted his shoulders with a smile. Oh yeah, let me introduce you to someone. Then he pointed at Mao Chuang. This is the helper I found for you, Mu Chuang. Didn't you may go to Li Shuang's medical company? He can stay here and help you. He can also learn from you. No problem, no problem. For Yizichin to bring them here personally, they were definitely not on the same level as the emperor's relatives. Bai Dahai was also a smart person, so he quickly grinned and said, "It just so happens that I've been looking for a subordinate recently. Young Master Yi is really grateful." Yi Zichen smiled, then glanced at Mao Chuang. "This is our jewelry store's general manager, Bai Dahai, Director Bai. You just need to follow him from now on." Boss Bai. Mao Chuang and Bai Dahai looked at each other and nodded. Yi Zichen also walked around the jewelry store a few times and raised his eyebrows. "How's business recently?" "Business has been good recently, but we don't have many raw stones in our hands. We need to control the amount we release," Bai Dahai said. "What's there to control? Is there a raw gemstone trade fair today?" When Bai Dahai heard this, his heart skipped a beat. Could it be that this master was going to make a move again? This was great news for him. Yes. A few days ago, I received an invitation saying that there will be a raw gemstone trade fair. Young Master Yi, are you going to... Let's go. We have nothing to do anyway. All right. Bai Dahai drove Yi Zichen to the trading center after he left Mu Chuang at the jewelry store and told the manager and supervisor a few things. Quite a few people recognized Yi Zichen the moment he entered the hall. "Mr. Yi, I wonder if you can sell me 2 stones this time?" "Mr. Yi, I can charge a high price." Mr. Yi. More and more people surrounded Yi Zichen, but there was nothing he could do about it. It was all Yi Zichen's fault for sweeping up too many items in the stone gambling circle. Every time he gambled, he would be called a celestial being. "What's going on over there?" Han Yu frowned as he looked at the crowd. He also had a sizable jewelry store under his banner, and he was invited to this event. "I heard that it's a stone god. It should be someone who's good at stone gambling." The expert beside Han Yu frowned, then smiled. "Stone gambling doesn't have anything that can be won every time. That stone god is most likely just boasting." "That's true." Han Yu nodded. Han Yu nodded non-committally. No one had X-ray vision, so they couldn't see what was going on inside. Stone gambling was all about luck. Of course, experience was also very important. However, even people with a lot of experience would stumble sometimes. Yi Zichen shook his head and prepared to leave. At that moment, a laugh sounded out from behind Han Yu. "Young Master Han, what a coincidence. I actually bumped into you here." Yi Zichen smiled playfully, but his eyes were filled with an unconcealable coldness. "This brat nearly killed me yesterday." "Young Master Yi?" Han Yu raised his eyebrows, then couldn't help but be shocked when he saw the people around him. "Young Master Yi is that stone god?" "I think so." Yi Zichen glanced at the people around him. Han Yu was even more shocked when he heard Yi Zichen's reply. Experience in stone gambling was accumulated over a long period of time. "So young." Han Yu covered up the shock in his heart, then complimented. "Young Master Yi, I admire you." Speaking of admiration, I do admire young Master Han. The great gift you gave me yesterday truly shocked me." With a sneer on his face, Han Yu put on a puzzled expression and said, "What great gift? Continue acting." Yi Zichen wanted to curse all 18 generations of Han Yu's ancestors in his heart. However, there was nothing he could do if he didn't admit it. Yi Zichen didn't have any proof that Han Yu did it. However, the chance was over 80%. Yi Zichen smiled and didn't pursue the topic. Instead, he glanced at the stone gambling expert beside Han Yu. "Geezer Liu, we meet again." Expert Liu's expression darkened when he saw Yi Zichen's playful smile. If it wasn't for this brat in front of him, he might still be enjoying the highest level of treatment in Xiao Yumei's jewelry store. "Huh!" Yi Zichen snorted undisguisedly, then raised his eyebrows with a smile. "So angry. You know him?" Han Yu raised his eyebrows. Yi Zichen shrugged with a smile. "I've seen him when I was stone gambling before. This expert Liu is one of the leading figures in the stone gambling world. Young Master Han has picked up a treasure." Yi Zichen smiled, then glanced at expert Liu once again. "I hope expert Liu can choose a few good stones for young Master Han to gamble on." Yi Zichen walked into the stone gambling auction area with his hands behind his back. Han Yu squinted his eyes and smiled. "Come on, let's go in and take a look." When Yi Zichen arrived at the stone gambling trading area, he couldn't help but bump into a group of people asking for stones. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, then his eyes flashed with a golden light, Fiery eyes of truth. Activate. This stone can give out jade. Who wants it? Yi Zichen pointed at a stone with green moss. He didn't need to look around like other experts with the fiery eyes of truth. He could tell with a single glance whether or not there was jade inside. Young Master Yi, I want this stone. F***ck off, I want this stone. Young Master Yi, let me buy it. I can give you a consultation fee. I want. Hearing Yi Zichen's words, the jewelers in the back immediately surrounded him like locusts. Han Yu, who followed behind, was also shocked. He chose so quickly. However, what made him speechless was that the jewelers in the back started to snatch it without even thinking about it. Are they not afraid of losing out? Don't rush, take it slow. Everyone has a chance. Yi Zichen smiled, then chose another 20-odd stones, which were all snatched away by the jewelers. Guys, are you not afraid of losing out? At that moment, Han Yu couldn't help but ask. The nearby jewelers looked at him like they were looking at a retard. If it wasn't because of his identity, someone might have cursed him. In response, Yi Zichen merely smiled calmly. Chapter 258. Manager of the trading center, the jewelers were going to cut the stones open on the spot. Yi Zichen's words allowed them to do him a favor. Everyone nodded in agreement, and the stonecutter walked over with his upper body bare. The jewelers were also divided into 3 teams, ready to cut the stones. Han Yu frowned and said to expert Lu, who was next to him, when he saw how calm everyone was. Elder Lu, do you think these stones can raise the price? Absolutely not. Those were expert Lu's true thoughts. At that moment, he was extremely resentful towards Yi Zichen. He wanted nothing more than for this brat to lose all of his bets and anger everyone. But at the same time, he also knew that this kid had some skills. I'm not too sure about that. Judging from the patterns on these stones, there's indeed a chance for them to produce green. Expert Lu chose a more pertinent answer. Han Yu raised his eyebrows and said, if there's a chance, it means there's a chance that it won't. But why don't these jewelers seem worried at all? This might be blind obedience. Han Yu didn't say anything else. He stared at the group of people who were cutting stones. He didn't believe that all these stones could contain jade. But after a full hour, Han Yu stood in the same place and witnessed the group of stones with his own eyes. All of them were green. Thank you, young Master Yi. Yi Zichen nodded towards them kindly with a smile, then walked beside Han Yu and raised his eyebrows. What's the matter with you? How is it, young Master Han? All the bets are up. I'm impressed, young Master Yi. Han Yu complimented with a fake smile. Yi Zichen nodded and snorted. What? Elder Lu, aren't you going to take young Master Han to buy a few stones of better quality? If you don't, then I'm going to take them all. You don't have to worry about it. As soon as he finished speaking, Master Lu left with Han Yu. Young Master Yi, shouldn't we also? Bai Dahai's heart itched as he looked at the jewelry merchants. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, prepared to pay up. Then, Yi Zichen activated his sweeping mode in the trading center. After an hour, Yi Zichen had instantly bought more than half of the stones that could give jade in the original market. Some of the ones with lower quality were given to the group of small jewelers. It could also be considered as accumulating some good karma. However, a strange scene appeared. When Yi Zichen stopped buying, the jewelers in the trading center also chose to stop picking stones. They weren't stupid. Since Yi Zichen wasn't buying, it clearly meant that there was no more jade left. The losses they had suffered in the previous battles were still fresh in their memories. Sister, we still have more than half of the raw stones left, but there are no more jewelers buying them. If this goes on, we'll suffer a huge loss this time. In a dark room of the trading center, a little girl frowned at the girl who was embroidering on the sofa. Why is this happening? The embroidered woman, wearing a veil, paused. Her attire had a classical charm to it, and her voice was also very ethereal. It's all because of that Yi Zichen. The girl twitched her mouth. It was also because of him that we suffered losses in the trade fair before. Is that the young man who bought all the stones that went up? I'm also quite curious about him. It looks like it's time to meet him. The woman stood up from the sofa and placed the embroidery aside with a smile. Take me to him. Although most of the raw stones in the trading center had not been mined yet, the jewelers did not do anything. Instead, they stared at Yi Zichen and waited for him to pick up the leftovers. F***CK. Isn't he going to be the scapegoat? Mr. Yi. At that moment, an ethereal voice sounded out beside Yi Zichen's ear. Yi Zichen tilted his head and saw a woman with a veil over her face slowly walk over, as if she was the daughter of a wealthy family. She even covered her face. Z's, is she afraid of being seen? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and shrugged. There are plenty of ores over there that have jade. Go and pick them yourself. I'm going to leave with my people. Mr. Yi, you misunderstood. The woman smiled softly. I'm the person in charge of your trade fair this time. What did you find me for? Yi Zichen smiled faintly. The woman made a pleased gesture. Can we talk in private? Yi Zichen followed the woman to a rather secluded place, then put his hands in his pockets. Say it. How are you talking to my older sister? The pretty red-shirt girl on the side frowned. I'm telling you, you baddie, you've already severely affected our family's business. Look at the remaining ores over there. They can't be sold anymore. What does that have to do with me? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Aren't I your customers when I buy ores from you guys? What's more, I buy a lot, so I can be considered as a big customer. But if you don't buy any more, then those jewelers won't buy any more. The red-shirt girl pouted. It's all your fault. Hurry up and tell them to go and buy more ores. Are you guys bandits? Yi Zichen was truly speechless at the thought of bandits. Those jewelers weren't idiots. Wouldn't there be something wrong with them if they didn't lose out? Lil Red, the veiled woman shouted softly. Mr. Yi, Lil Red is rather young. Don't mind him too much. Child's words carry no harm. Yi Zichen smiled faintly. But Mr. Yi, I have to say that you have severely affected our interests. Ignoring the previous times, just this time alone has caused our losses to break 50 million. What? You want me to compensate you? No. The woman shook her head. From today onwards, you will enter our blacklist. From now on, you are not allowed to step into the ore trade fair. Hey. You guys are a bit too much. You're doing business. We are indeed doing business. The woman's voice was still soft, but there was an unquestionable tone to it. But businessmen seek profit. This business is constantly losing money, so what's the point of doing it? Don't you think so? It's just like how you only buy ores that go up and not those that go down. I buy ores that go up because I have the ability to do so. You guys are going to interfere with that as well? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. But we also have the right to not serve you, don't we? With that, the veiled woman turned around. I won't pursue the matter this time. Please leave. Say, lady, you can't be like this. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and sighed. Is there any way to redeem the situation? Yes. The veiled woman turned around and raised her eyebrows. Help me sell all of these ores, or trick someone into buying a few ores at high price. Wow, you truly are blinded by profit. Thank you. That is the best compliment to a businessman like me. The veiled woman smiled. The remaining ores here are priced at around 50 million. Please work hard. Chapter 259. Young Master Han, who was tricked at that moment. Han Yu's expression wasn't very good. This expert Liu, who recommended himself, didn't seem to be particularly strong. Of course, most of the stones he bought didn't fail with the geezer's guidance. However, compared to the pile of stones Yi Zichen bought, the increase was rather pitiful. Just what kind of person is this brat? Yi Zichen was beaten up by his little brother, Han Chi. It was one thing that he didn't get revenge as the older brother, but he also didn't get any face in stone gambling. As Han Yu muttered his heart, he looked up and saw Yi Zichen walk over with a smile. Young Master Han, how is it? You got a raise, right? A little. Han Yu smiled insincerely, but it naturally wasn't as much as young Master Yi. Ah, of course. Yi Zichen replied without any modesty, then glanced at the stones that were around 250 kilograms in total. These stones all looked pretty good. It could be said that they were the finale items of the Year Trading Center. It could be said that these stones would be fought over crazily by the jewelry merchants. However, since Yi Zichen didn't buy them, they didn't move. Yi Zichen, who had the fiery eyes of truth, could see that these stones would give out jade, but it was only palm-sized. I'm taking these 3 stones. Yi Zichen raised his hand and pointed at the 3 stones. Many jewelry merchants couldn't help but beat their chests when they saw this. There were many times when they wanted to buy them, but when they saw that Yi Zichen didn't buy them, they thought that they wouldn't give out jade. In the end, he just wanted to buy the stones at the very end. Although they regretted it in their hearts, they didn't think too much about it when they thought about how they earned quite a bit by buying with Yi Zichen. Boss, these stones aren't sold by kilograms. The starting price is 1 yuan. Even the heavens are helping me. Yi Zichen laughed maniacally in his heart. He had been thinking about how to make Han Yu bid against him. He didn't think that these stones were actually auctioned. However, on the surface, he revealed a look of reluctance. Master, these stones have been here for an entire day, and no one bought them. What's the point of auctioning them? Just directly sell them to me. If it really doesn't work, then I can pay double the price. Han Yu also glanced at the 3 stones. Even he could see that the stones could produce jade. Yi Zichen subconsciously glanced at Elder Lu. The old man stroked his beard, then looked at Stone, then at Yi Zichen's urgent look. Green, big green. Hearing that, Han Yu smiled and walked over with his hands behind his back. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile when he saw Han Yu. Boss, this is an auction stone, right? I'll pay 1 million. Young Master Han. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and pretended to be annoyed. I took a fancy to this stone just now, and you're trying to steal again? Young Master Yi, what are you talking about? The stone seller said that this is an auction stone. How can it be considered snatching it? Han Yu smiled. When he saw Yi Zichen's displeased expression, he couldn't help but feel a bit happy. Good stones naturally go to the highest bidder. I must have this stone. I can't let you have it. When the time came, he would do it on the spot to piss this grandson off. He was the one who made him jump in the clubhouse yesterday, so he could vent his brother's anger. Yi Zichen laughed out loud in his heart when he saw Han Yu's slightly proud expression. Highest bidder, that's exactly what I wanted. He was truly afraid that Han Yu wouldn't say something like that. Then it'll go to the highest bidder. Since I'm determined to get this stone, let's see how much young Master Han can pay. Yi Zichen smiled coldly. 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. Han Yu didn't even twitch his eyebrows when he called out the price. The higher Yi Zichen raised the price, the more he felt that the stone was worth it. 30 million. I'm just short of 20 million. Yi Zichen laughed maniacally in his heart. 50 million. 60 million. That's enough. Seeing the smile on Han Yu's face become brighter and brighter, Yi Zichen was afraid that he would lose out at a higher price, so he mocked. Young Master Han isn't afraid of losing out. Even if I lose out, Han Yu, don't lack that bit of money, Han Yu confirmed in his heart. It was clear that Yi Zichen was out of money, so he couldn't help but mock back. Why aren't young Master Yi bidding anymore? Then I'll give it to young Master Han. Yi Zichen shrugged, then turned around and hooked his finger towards the veiled girl with a smile. Go and collect the money. The veiled woman led the little girl and read over with the POS machine. When Han Yu saw this scene, he felt that something was wrong, but he did not say anything. He still took out his card and transferred money. Then he shouted at the interpreter, "Open the stone." The explanation of the 3 emperors in stone attracted many onlookers. However, when Han Yu saw the veiled woman standing next to Yi Zichen, he felt a bit nervous. Release. Gritting his teeth and shouting angrily, the interpreter also pushed the machine forward. The first slash was a complete defeat. The second slash collapsed. No matter how many cuts he made, it was still a failure. Yi Zichen, you King tricked me. Han Yu glared angrily. How did I fool you? Young Master Han, what are you saying? Yi Zichen walked over with his arms crossed, then glanced at the stones on the ground. There's green inside. As soon as he finished speaking, he took a piece of chalk and drew a boundary on it, raising his eyebrows at the stonecutter. Cut like this. Not long later, all 3 stones were released. Inside each rock was a palm-sized piece of yellow-green jadeite. Yi Zichen pointed at the 3 jadeites on the ground and raised his eyebrows. Isn't there jade now? Yi Zichen. Han Yu clenched his teeth. 60 million for 3 palm-sized yellow-green jadeites. You 2 worked together to screw me over. Han Yu pointed at the veiled woman and Yi Zichen with an extremely menacing expression. Yi Zichen smiled playfully. Young Master Han really knows how to joke. No one forced you to come to the auction. How do we work together to screw you over? What's more, I already reminded young Master Han, but young Master Han didn't listen. You even said that even if it fails, you can pay for it. You. Han Yu squinted his eyes and cursed. You two work together to screw me over, fine. But do you think that I, Han Yu, am a pushover? What? Young Master Han wants to deal with me. The veiled woman walked over with a smile. Stone gambling is all about luck. Are you blaming us if you fail? Besides, I saw it just now. You were indeed the one who wanted to buy it. Also, I've always been curious as to why the Han family, who are involved in politics, would have so much money to gamble on stones. Seems like there's a need to investigate further. Fine, just you wait. Han Yu waved his hand and left the stone gambling hall. Yi Zichen stood behind him with the 3 palm-sized rocks in his hand. What do you think? Young Master Han, you bought the jade for 60 million. Hearing that, Han Yu's figure paused before he left the venue without turning his head back. Yi Zichen placed the 3 pieces of yellow-green on the table, then raised his eyebrows towards the veiled woman with a smile. How about it? You want 50 million? I've earned 60 million for you, and I'll leave these 3 pieces of yellow seedling jadeite to you. Is this enough? Chapter 260. Heavenly Court's compulsory education concept. Yi Zichen raised his head and smiled wryly at the questioning and unquestionable tone. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and looked at the veiled woman, who was unable to see her face clearly. He twisted his neck and shook his head. I still have to pick out all the stones that could be used for gambling. Do I owe you? Misty doesn't agree. The veiled woman raised her eyebrows. Just treat it as compensation for my previous losses. Is that not okay? Yi Zichen licked his lips and nodded. All right. After pointing out all the stones that could be used for gambling, Yi Zichen did not say anything else to the woman and left the trading center with Bai Dahai. The veiled woman supported her chin with her hand and nodded meaningfully, then pointed at the stones that Yi Zichen picked out. Mine, all of them. I have to know just what's so amazing about this guy. With this batch of ores, Bai Dahai promised Yi Zichen that he would definitely double the profits of the jewelry store. Yi Zichen did not mind it too much, since he did not have a strong desire for money. However, he was rather displeased at being ordered around by the veiled woman. Yi Zichen frowned, then took out his phone and called Xiao Hai. Zichen, you're calling Hai Ji if you're so free. Xiao Hai's clear laughter sounded out. Actually, I wouldn't call Hai Ji for no reason. I want Hai Ji to help me investigate a person's background. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Oh, say it, who is it? Xiao Hai asked in confusion. The person in charge of their trading center, a girl wearing a veil. Yi Zichen replied. No problem. Xiao Hai replied without any hesitation. Come and play with Hai Ji when you have time. We haven't seen each other for a long time. Let's drink together. Sure, I'll definitely go and bother Hai Ji when I have time. Yi Zichen hung up with a smile, then habitually scrolled through the Heavenly Court's chat group. The people in the group were all sighing, especially when there was a deity in the group that he had never seen before. Earthen Lord, great deities, please help me think of a way. Otherwise, this old man's beard is going to be completely pulled out by those kids. God of Thunder, that's difficult. Mother of Lightning, that's right. This group of children are all 3rd-generation fairy immortals. We can't afford to offend them. Immortality Peach Fairy. Aren't there a lot of great deities here? Can't the Earth God just look for the parents? God of Thunder. Immortality Peach Fairy's words are incorrect. These immortal children are the treasures of the family. Even if the Land Authority went to look for their parents, the children would not be punished. In the end, the Land Authority would still be the one to suffer. Local God, that's right. Yi Zichen looked at the chat for a long time, then replied in the group. What's going on? What problem can't be solved? God of Thunder. Hey, the Sky Sovereign is here. Immortality Peach Fairy. Earth God, tell Sky Venerable. Earth God, greetings, Sky Sovereign. In the Heavenly Court, an Empyrean was an extremely high title, much higher than even those true lords and Tao lords. Earth Lord was just a minor human immortal. It was impossible for him not to feel fear when facing such a great immortal. In Earth and Lord, no need to be so courteous. What were you talking about just now? Sky Sovereign doesn't know. The Earthen Lord, who was sitting on the ground, sneaked a glance at the celestial children running around in his vegetable garden, then replied, "This little deity belongs to the land of the heavenly court of the three realms. Deities' orders are ancient. Although the heavenly court has done some family planning, there are still plenty of celestial children being born. It was fine before. I could take care of 10 odd children, but now..." The Earthen Lord sighed. "Recently, there have been more and more celestial children, and these children are getting more and more active. My old bones really can't handle them, but this little deity's status is low, so he doesn't dare to get angry at these celestial children, nor can he go and look for their parents." Yi Zichen nodded in understanding. The problem was that during the children's ADHD period, the parents were busy with work, so they didn't have time to take care of them. There weren't any nurseries or kindergartens over there, so it seemed like the Earthen Lord couldn't take it anymore. "This problem is very easy to deal with," Yi Zichen smiled. "Sky Sovereign, please help this little deity." The Earthen Lord was shocked, and even the other deities in the group were shocked. This problem had already troubled the heavenly court for a long time, but no one had been able to deal with it. "Then we have to find our heavenly court's butler, great deity Tai-Bai Jinxing. Tai-Bai Jinxing, what did you find me for?" It seems like this old brat has been paying attention to the situation in the group, since he immediately came out after mentioning me. "Look up and see what the Earthen Lord said. I've seen it already. This problem has always been a huge problem for the heavenly court. You said that you can solve it?" Tai-Bai Jinxing raised his eyebrows. "Isn't this problem very simple?" Yi Zichen smiled. "Establish a school." "What do you mean?" Tai-Bai Jinxing asked. "The school is divided into kindergartens, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. Put the celestial children of all ages into their respective schools and manage them together. That way, not only can it solve the problem of the celestial children running around, it can also nurture their celestial spiritual energy from young and allow them to win at the starting line." Amazing. Sky Sovereign's solution is truly amazing. God of Thunder and the other deities all slapped the table in praise, while Tai-Bai Jinxing raised his eyebrows. "Why didn't I think of such a good solution before? But if we establish a school, then there will definitely be people to manage it, right? Then who will manage these celestial children?" The Immortality Peach brat blinked. "The school will naturally have teachers. These teachers must be able to control the celestial children. Then we can start with some celestial second generations. Most of these celestial second generations are the ones that have nothing to do, so having them teach in the school counts as giving them something to do. Secondly, the school will have a teaching director and a principal. Famous great deities that aren't too busy can be the teaching director and principal. That way, we can form a system of one-level management." Slap! Tai-Bai Jinxing slapped his thigh when he saw Yi Zichen's words. "Amazing. It just so happens that the celestial second generations have nothing to do, so they form groups to fight and steal people's chickens and corn. That way, not only does it solve the problem of no one managing the celestial children in the heavenly court, it also solves the problem of the celestial second generations in Huanjing. I'll report it to the Jade Emperor right now." The moment the message was sent, Yi Zichen saw Tai-Bai Jinxing send him a red packet. "You received Tai-Bai Jinxing's red packet. Cultivation experience X 200,000. Kid, you have a future. Not bad. You truly helped the heavenly court solve a huge problem. I'll go and ask the Jade Emperor right now. If it passes, then there will be benefits for you." Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Tai-Bai Jinxing increased by 200. Current intimacy level, 400. Yi Zichen smiled faintly. At that moment, ding dong. Chapter 261. Report card of Literati. Star. He accepted the Earthen Lord's friend request. He habitually glanced at the intimacy level. 200. Trusted. Thank you, Heavenly Venerable, for helping me out. If it wasn't for Yi Zichen, Earthen Lord might still be troubled by the questions from the celestial children. He was already a bag of old bones, and he really couldn't withstand the torment of that group of immortal children. It's nothing. Actually, Yi Zichen didn't think too much about it. He merely wanted to screw over the celestial children of the heavenly court. Thinking back to when they were mortals studying in the lower realm and had to do homework every day, he also wanted this group of immortal children to experience it. At the same time, he wanted to let the group of immortals in the heavenly court feel the pain and joy of being a teacher. Little deity does not know how to thank Heavenly Sovereign. This is something that little deity obtained by chance. I hope that it will be of use to Heavenly Sovereign. Ding dong. Earth and God immediately sent a red packet over. Yizichin raised his eyebrows and accepted it. Mysterious envelope X1. He clicked on the treasure chest, and there was indeed an envelope at the top of the treasure chest's inventory. He looked at the description, mysterious envelope. A very mysterious envelope. F***, it's really mysterious. Yizichin couldn't help but shake his head and smile wryly. After exchanging a few more pleasantries with Earthen Lord, he exited the chat. At the same time, in the soaring Heaven King Palace, Tai-Bai Jinxing stood below with a horsetail whisk in his hand. He had just told Yizichin's thoughts to the Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother. The Jade Emperor frowned and held the dragon throne with his right hand. Then, a faint smile appeared on his lips. Not bad, wonderful. Tai-Bai Jinxing, your idea is not bad and can be implemented. What reward do you want? Tell me. This isn't little deity's idea. Tai-Bai Jinxing raised his eyebrows and smiled. It's the idea of a colleague in the heavenly court. Oh. The Jade Emperor raised his eyebrows and said, summon him. This seems to be a little difficult. That celestial friend is in a secret place. Tai-Bai Jinxing explained. It's a pity that we can't meet such a talent. What a pity. The Jade Emperor sighed softly and waved his right hand. A golden decree appeared in the Lingxiao treasure hall. You will supervise the establishment of the school. If you need any helpers, you can use this decree to deploy them. Ding dong. Obtained 100 reputation. Immeasurable virtue. Yizichin, who was lying down and playing with his phone, suddenly received a notification. What the hell is this reputation? Yizichin frowned. He already had 127 reputation, but he still didn't understand what reputation was used for. At this moment, Tai-Bai Jinxing also sent him a message. The establishment of the school has been approved. You've made a great contribution. Is that so? Great deity Tai-Bai, give me some benefits. I'm already immune to verbal praise. Yizichin smiled. Tai-Bai Jinxing raised his eyebrows, then formed a hand seal. Ding dong. You have received Tai-Bai Jinxing's red packet. Appraisal stone X1 inch. I calculated that you needed this stone, so I'll take it as your reward. No. What kind of reward was that? Yizichin looked at the pitch-black rock in his phone's treasure chest with a look of confusion. He was beyond speechless. Hey, you didn't trick me, did you? The moment he sent the message, Yizichin's phone suddenly received a system notification. Ding dong. The system has detected that the mysterious envelope can be authenticated. Do you want to authenticate it now? Yizichin revealed a look of understanding when he saw the content. So the stone came for the envelope. Now that you mention it, this geezer Tai-Bai Jinxing is truly amazing. He actually managed to calculate that. Yizichin was rather curious about the envelope. Since he could authenticate it, he naturally chose to do so. Yes, a blinding white light suddenly flashed on the screen. Yizichin subconsciously closed his eyes. When the light faded and he clicked open the treasure chest, ding dong. Appraisal successful. Congratulations, you have received Literati Star's results slip. At the same time, in the Literati Star Palace, Literati Star, who was immersed in a sea of knowledge, suddenly trembled. He put down the book in his hand, then raised his hand and continuously formed hand seals. Then, his expression drastically changed. He took out his phone, found only idealism in the WeChat group, and sent a friend request. Yizichin, who had just received Literati Star's results slip, was completely shocked. This thing seemed to be an astronomical price of several million cultivation experience in the treasure shop. Before he could come back to his senses, he saw a friend request. Literati Star has sent you a friend request. Why did he come here? Could it be because of that report card? However, he still accepted Literati Star's friend request. Fellow Taoist. The Literati Star's intimacy level was friendly. As long as it wasn't cold, Yi Zichen wasn't worried. When he saw the message, he replied, Fellow Taoist. Hey, I'll be frank too. I wonder if fellow Taoist has found a transcript. He was really here for the report card. Yes, it is indeed to obtain a fellow Taoist transcript. Yi Zichen answered honestly. Literati Star's hand trembled as he raised his eyebrows. Fellow Taoist, you haven't seen it, have you? I haven't had the time. That's for the best. Fellow Taoist, can you return the report to me? I can give you a corresponding reward. This brother was so nervous about the report card. Could it be that there was something on it? Yi Zichen subconsciously took out his school report and laid out on the bed for a long time. It was filled with strangely shaped words that he couldn't understand at all, especially the report card, which seemed to be quite old. Fellow Taoist. Fellow Taoist, where did you go? Fellow Taoist, can you give me the report card? Fellow Taoist, say something. The fact that Yi Zichen didn't reply only caused Literati Star to be extremely anxious. Yi Zichen glanced at the report card that he couldn't understand. Although he couldn't understand it, the contents definitely couldn't be exposed. Otherwise, Literati Star wouldn't be so anxious. I wonder why Brother Literati is so concerned about this report card, Yi Zichen asked in a testing manner. However, Literati Star did not have any intention of revealing anything. That has nothing to do with Taoist. I wonder if Taoist can send this report card over to me? I will definitely give Taoist a satisfactory reward. Satisfactory. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth, then went to the treasure shop to look around. The most expensive thing that Literati Star could give him seemed to be his notes on shorthand. It was worth 3 million cultivation experience. Yi Zichen licked his lips and raised his eyebrows. I'm very interested in Taoist's notes on shorthand. Literati Star was already prepared for Yi Zichen to ask for a lot, but he didn't expect that Yi Zichen just wanted his notes on shorthand. That was too easy for him to accept. Thus, Yi Zichen directly sent the notes over without saying anything else. Ding dong. You received Literati Star's red packet. Literati Star's secret memory technique, X1. Seeing that Taoist had received the red packet, Literati Star quickly replied, I wonder if you can return the report card to me? Naturally, no problem. The moment he sent the message, Yi Zichen immediately sent Literati Star's report card over. Ding dong. Literati Star received your red packet. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Literati Star increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 200. Ding dong. Chapter 262. Development of Diversity. Yi Zichen became one of the frequent customers of Polytechnic University after obtaining Literati Star's knowledge of shorthand. He would always come to the library to find a lot of books to read, but the speed at which he read was shockingly fast. He wasn't reading at all. He was flipping through books. After Yi Zichen finished reading most of the books in the library for 3 whole days, he left the library. Yi Zichen stretched lazily. At that moment, he could be described as talented and knowledgeable. Yi Zichen arrived at Xiao Yumei's medical company. Xiao Yumei sat at her desk with a troubled look, while her frown did not relax for a long time. She knocked on the office door with a smile, then looked up and saw Yi Zichen, who was standing in front of the door. Coming. Yi Zichen forced a smile, then squinted his eyes and walked in front of the desk. Ever since you started this medical company, I rarely see you smile. Yi Zichen raised his hand and patted Xiao Yumei's frown. If it's too hard, then don't do it. There's no turning back. Xiao Yumei sighed. But you... Yi Zichen caressed her hair. What is it? Did you encounter some problem again? Our medical company's approval is invalid, Xiao Yumei said plainly. How did that happen? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. I heard that it's because we obtained the approval through illegal means, so the higher-ups made it invalid. But I feel like someone is actually messing around behind the scenes. Xiao Yumei squinted her eyes. It seems like you have a person in mind. Yi Zichen smiled. It's Hanyu. Xiao Yumei shrugged. It seems like it's only Hanyu who has so much power in Bingcheng that he doesn't even give young master Su any face. That's right. Yi Zichen smiled without denying it. But why would Hanyu do something to our medical company? Is it purely because you beat up Han Shi? Xiao Yumei was confused. No. With that, Yi Zichen told her everything that happened between him and Han Yu in the past few days. Xiao Yumei blanked out as she listened. After a long while, she couldn't help but smile wryly. You actually cheated him of 60 million. No wonder he has such a huge grudge against us. But what should we do this time? If we wait for the normal approval, coupled with Han Yu's deliberate suppression, we might have to wait until the end of the year. I guessed this possibility a long time ago, Yi Zichen smiled. Didn't you say that you wanted to send the medicine to the military? That's right, but it's built on the fact that our medicine is already a little famous. No need. Let's directly make this a military-exclusive medicine. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Are you sure? Xiao Yumei was stunned. If it's just military agents, then we're a state-owned enterprise. The military will definitely finance it. Our medicine can be diversified. Not only can it be taken orally, but it can also be applied externally. Yi Zichen's eyes lit up. If it was before, he might not have thought so much, but after swimming in the sea of knowledge for so long and reading several tins of management books at that moment, he was like a general who was familiar with the art of war, but had no actual experience. However, that didn't matter, since he had a great general like Xiao Yumei by his side. I accidentally found out a while ago that our medicine can not only heal internal injuries like bone fractures, it can also heal scars and so on. Then, our medicine can be sold through 2 channels. One is for the military, which can be set as a special medicine. The other is to sell it to normal people. Everyone loves beauty. I believe that removing scars can cause a huge commotion in the market. Xiao Yumei raised her hand in shock and pinched Yi Zichen's cheek, then pulled. Are you sure you're my idiot, man? Who's an idiot? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. I've always been very smart, all right. It's unbelievable that such words can come out of your mouth. Xiao Yumei's face was filled with disbelief. I can get the R&D team to research what you said, but the military-exclusive medicine, naturally, I'll do it. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a smile. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a smile. I don't believe that Han Yu will be able to interfere if we use the excuse of being specially provided by the military. If he dares to interfere, then I'll dare to label him as a traitor. Wow, my little man is so handsome. Xiao Yumei hugged her hands and looked at Yi Zichen with a look of admiration. Ha, of course. Yi Zichen pulled Xiao Yumei into his arms domineeringly. Yi Zichen pulled Yumei into his arms domineeringly. At that moment, the phone in his pocket rang. Yi Zichen smirked when he saw the caller ID on the screen. Speak of the devil. Yi Zichen took Xiao Yumei's car to the Su household. During the journey, he had been thinking about buying a car when he had time. Otherwise, it would truly be too inconvenient. When he entered the Su household's courtyard, he saw old man Su sitting in the pavilion as expected. Elder Su, you called me? Yi Zichen ran over with a smile and sat down. Old man Su raised his eyebrows and pointed at the tea on the table. Try it. I don't know much about this stuff. Forget it. Yi Zichen shrugged with a smile. Old man Su did not insist and merely smiled. You're right. Why haven't I seen you with my precious granddaughter recently? What's wrong? Did something happen to your relationship again? Now that he thought about it, it had indeed been a long time since he had gone looking for Su Yan. The main thing was that he had been really busy lately. Yi Zichen chuckled dryly, then scratched his head. There's nothing wrong with the relationship. It's just that I'm a bit busy recently. Elder Su nodded in a non-committal manner. Then, he smiled mysteriously and said, busy setting up a pharmaceutical company. As soon as he finished speaking, he took out a green pill from his pocket. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he saw the pill. This pill was the one that Xiao Yumei's medical company used to circulate in the underground world. Zichen, this old man isn't going to beat around the bush with you. I just want to know that the medical company that was established a while ago is actually your company, right? This medicine actually came from you, right? Yi Zichen had come here for the pill, so Elder Su's words were clearly helping him. Yes, this medicine came from me. Hearing that, old man Su raised his eyebrows, while light surfaced in his murky eyes. Then, Grandpa, Su has a presumptuous request. Say it. Yi Zichen nodded. Can you make this medicine into a special medicine for the military? Can you make this medicine into a special medicine for the military? Can you turn this medicine into a special medicine for the military? Chapter 263. Buying a car. It could be said that Su Qian placed a lot of importance on the pill in front of him. Yi Zichen's reply stunned him. What is it? Yi Zichen sighed softly when he saw old man Su's solemn expression. We can't produce it at all. Can't produce it? Old man Su raised his eyebrows. What? Could it be that your medicine doesn't meet the requirements and is harmful to the human body? Elder Su, do you think that I would produce this kind of medicine? Yi Zichen smiled wryly. All of the requirements meet the requirements, and this medicine will not have any side effects on the human body. Then why can't you produce it? I want to produce it as well, but I need the approval. Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly. Originally, the approval came down and we were about to produce it, but the approval was canceled. Cancel? Old man Su frowned. Yeah. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh, then told Elder Su about how Han Yu used some sort of method to cancel the approval. Slap! Old man Su slammed his fist on the marble table, and his face darkened beyond belief. Nonsense! If this medicine really had no side effects on the human body, like Yi Zichen said, then, what's more, he had a simple understanding of the medicine's effects. It could quickly heal internal injuries. If this medicine was distributed to the military, then it would be a huge blessing for the children on missions. It would be able to reduce the death rate of missions by a lot. This brat from the Han family actually canceled the approval for such a medicine for his own selfish desires. To put it nicely, he was a bit childish, but to put it more seriously, he was committing treason. The Han family really thinks that they can do whatever they want in Bingsheng. Old man Su raised his eyebrows and scolded angrily. Lil Yi, don't worry. I will report this medicine to the higher-ups and give you the approval from the military. This old man doesn't believe that the Han family can interfere with the military. No problem. Yi Zichen left the Su family. Before he left, he heard Su Qian continuously talking on the phone. He should be talking to the higher-ups. Yi Zichen took a taxi to a 4S shop. There was no helping it. He really should buy a car. Otherwise, it would be too troublesome if he kept taking taxis. Sir, welcome. As soon as he entered, a few salesgirls surrounded him. Yi Zichen nodded with a faint smile, then silently thought to himself, the service here is really good. Just as he was about to ask them where the mid-range cars were, the group of saleswomen who had surrounded him earlier all walked away. May I ask where the mid-class business cars and private cars are located? No one responded. At that moment, Yi Zichen was rather annoyed. Why are these people's service attitudes like this? Is no one coming over? I want to see the car. Yi Zichen raised his voice, but the salesgirls continued to chat in groups of 2s and 3s and ignored him. Are there no living people in your shop? What are you shouting for? Can't you see we're all busy? The salesgirl frowned. The customer is standing here, and you guys are chatting over there. Is this how you treat your guests? Yi Zichen suppressed his anger. Never mind. Lily, come over and look at the car with this mister, in case this mister complains about our service attitude being bad. The salesgirl who spoke earlier hooked her finger at the baby-faced girl, who was wiping the floor. The girl wiped the sweat on her forehead, then put the cloth back into the bathroom and ran over. Hello, sir. May I ask what kind of car you want to look at? No need to be too enthusiastic. This person can't afford it all. Even if he does, it would just be a mortgage payment. Just serve him for a bit. The salesgirl mocked once again. Yi Zichen's expression darkened once again. When the baby-faced girl beside him saw his expression, she quickly tried to divert his attention. Sir, these are all mid-range and low-end cars. They aren't too expensive and are suitable for students who have just started a job or are preparing to start a business in university. Look at you, no need. Yi Zichen shook his head. Did you see that? He just came to look. He can't even afford the mortgage, so why waste time with him? Yi Zichen looked up and glanced at the salesgirl. When the salesgirl saw his gaze, she put her hands on her waist. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? You're not willing? I'm really curious how a person like you can work here. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, then turned towards the baby-faced girl. You guys have a Palomila, right? Yes, sir. The baby-faced girl nodded. Take me over to have a look. The baby-faced salesgirl brought Yi Zichen to the Panamera. The salesgirl behind him couldn't help but snicker. The salesgirl behind him couldn't help but snicker. What's the use of looking at it? You better shut your stinky mouth. Yi Zichen, who had been suppressing his anger, pointed at the salesgirl and scolded. The salesgirl seemed to want to retort, but when she saw the gold card Yi Zichen took out, although they were only salesgirls of the lowest level, they still had eyes. Not to mention buying a Porsche, it wouldn't even be a problem for someone with this kind of gold card to buy their entire car dealership. I'm taking this Panamera and that Maserati Presidente. I'll buy them both. Sir, are you sure? The baby-faced girl did not dare to accept the gold card. The commission for these two cars was equivalent to nearly 2 years of her salary. Of course, go and draft the contract. After signing the car purchase contract, Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and walked in front of the salesgirl, who had been very talkative at the start. At that moment, she no longer had any of her previous temper. You'll get into trouble sooner or later with that stinky mouth of yours. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and cursed, then drove the Panamera away from the 4S store. As for the Presidente, he got someone to drive it back to the mansion. Ding dong. Yi Zichen's phone suddenly rang not long after he drove the car away. Yi Zichen parked the car on the side of the road and took out his phone to look at the message. Only then did he notice that the person looking for him was Tai-Bai jinxing. More importantly, this geezer seemed to be in a hurry. Tai-Bai jinxing. Brat. Tai-Bai jinxing. Hurry up and come out. Tai-Bai jinxing. This sovereign has something important to discuss with you. Tai-Bai jinxing. Can you hurry up? My butt is about to be on fire. Tai-Bai jinxing. Idealism. What are you in such a hurry for? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, rubbed his nose, and replied, What is it? Why are you in such a hurry? Also, I have my own life every day. I can't possibly serve you 24 hours a day.